Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. I'm Michael Longcard, joined by my boy, Bet on Drew, and we are here to deliver the heads up commentary for this epic $200, $400, $40,000 buy-in heads up battle that's been going on for weeks now, and we're gonna jump right into it. What's up, Drew? How you doing, man?
Good, buddy. This is exciting, man. Just chilling on a Saturday, watching high stakes poker. It reminds me so much of the old school full tilt days. You know, like you've been in poker for a long time, right? You remember those days?
Of course, yeah. I started playing online in like 2003, 2002.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Nice. This was actually the high stakes stuff on full tilt. Was like I was still pretty new, but I was just finding out about it, and I'm a little bit sad I didn't get to experience it as much back then. Yep. And then to see it kind of start coming back now, I was like, okay, this is exciting.
No, this is really exciting. And for those of you that don't know, Bill Perkins, aka Gas Trader, multi-billionaire, has been battling Landon Tice, absolute go, 22-year-old poker phenom, heads up here on ACR for a couple of weeks now. And what are we at right now on the hand total? Where are we at? About 3,000, 4,000?
Yeah, a little over 3,144 hands so far total. Bill is down 97K. And yeah, it's been a heck of a battle. Speaking of that, though, overall, minus 97K right now. How do you think that Landon is feeling at this point? They put in 3,100 hands. They're playing 20,000 hands total, and he is up about 100K, and he has to surpass the 720K handicap, right? How do you think he's feeling at this point?
I mean, yeah, he's, pretty close to on track right now. So I mean, he's got to be feeling pretty good. And, obviously everything heads up is always about adapting and readapting to your opponent. He's in a good spot right now. He's in a really good spot right now.
So there was just a big hand on the right table. I saw Landon raise to 11K. I think he ended up getting a fold there. Or did Bill? No, Bill might have raised that.
Bill flopped the open-ended straight draw, turned the backdoor flush draw, hit the backdoor hearts, elected to check out of position. Landon checked it back in a nice little, I think it was like $25,000 pot-ish going to Bill Perkins to start this match.
Nice. What's up, chat? Good to see everybody today.
What's up, guys? Hey, T. Benz, Professor Grind, Ginger, Sean. Party time. What up, John? What's up, guys?
Look at the legends in the chat.
Legends. Yeah, it's exciting, man.
Buddy, we got a big pot already again on the right table here. 8,800 in the middle. Flush on the flop. A turn. One card now.
4-card flush. 8,700 in the middle. Of course, we got to have two tables because we're all degens and got to have a little more action than just one table, of course. Even heads up.
I wonder how many tables. I imagine, too, Bill probably wouldn't have wanted to do. He might have had to talk into doing two tables, a little bit too much action, especially for what we know coming into this match. Bill and Landon both don't have a ton of heads up experience. So they both had to really commit to getting into the lab to prepare for these insane stakes.
Yeah,
honestly, stakes to us, right?
Honestly, I feel like when you're playing deep stacked heads up, I feel like anything, and I'm a big multi-tabler. I'm pretty good at multi-tabling, but I feel like when you're playing deep stacked heads up, anything more than two tables, I don't care who you are. You're just not going to be playing your absolute A game. So especially at these stakes, I think anything above two tables would kind of take away from the quality factor,
That makes sense. Yeah, I feel that. What's up there, Puerto Rican? How's it going? Good luck. Good luck, Benjamin.
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Enjoying a little time off from the grind. Enjoying a little time off from the grind, man. It's good to be here with you guys. Yeah, MJ will probably be joining us.
How much more time are you taking off?
So I'm on like a 10-day break right now. And I'm taking outside of my home game, obviously, which is just its own thing. But outside of my home game,
you can't miss that.
Of course not. Outside of the home game, I'm gonna take it off until the first week of July. I'll be back for first week of July.
It's a good refresher period, I would say.
And I need it, man. I need a little refresh.
Buddy, you go hard, man. You go hard.
Yep.
You're like going to the grocery store with your laptop, grinding some stables.
That's how I do. And I guarantee after this 3-week break, I'm gonna be playing every day once July hits, every single day.
That's exciting. So yeah, at this rate, 3,000 hands in, Landon up about 100K to get to the 20K, times it by about 7. Landon is right around that 700K mark.
Yeah, he's
on pace for that.
Right on track. Right on track. Benjamin, what's up, man?
I mean,
yeah,
I'm sure
you
he
should be
doesn't
grinding
want
right now. Absolutely. Absolutely. Got to get on the grind right now, man.
Yeah, yeah. I imagine Landon doesn't want to just hit 700K. You know, might need to pick up the pace a little bit, but it's cool to see that as far as the sweat goes and everything. It's like kind of about where they set the line at anyway.
So I hate asking this because I'm like letting everyone know I don't know the super details of this. If Landon ends up exactly plus 720K, it's just, as far as money wise, it's just dead even, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
yep.
just make sure on that. I was pretty sure on that. Okay. Yeah, this is exciting, man.
So we got another big pot on the right here. Another flush on the flop, possible. I don't know. So I've done a couple of these shows so far, and it feels like they're being early on here a bit more aggressive than they have in the past. Like it's not like as slow. So I'm very like what I've been enjoying about this match is trying to see like the adjustments and the flows of it. This feels a little bit more aggressive off the start than prior matches, which is interesting because there's so much adjusting going on in these like heads up matches. You know, we saw in the Daniel and Doug, you know, eventually the strategy got to limping. It's like, you know, like, so it's cool to kind of see this and feel it. I hope it stays mad aggressive. That'd be so sick. I was gonna say,
both players woke up today and talked to whoever they're talking to and said, okay, it's time to up the aggression. Hopefully we see both players just going at it today. Extra hard. And we had this 3-bet pot here on the right, and it's been checked the whole way. 4 spades on board.
Pair of 9. So I guess Landon to have called a bet on that flop, some sort of missed straight draw, I'd imagine. And I am not a heads up guru in any sort of way. So I feel like hanging out with Lankar here, watching this, that we're like huge fans, right? That we just get to talk on a Saturday and like just watch this high stakes action, which is, it's just awesome.
Yeah, this is great, man. So here's a question I have for you, chat, and for you, Drew. If Bill Perkins were to come at you and say, hey, you have to take all of yourself, and I want to play you heads up, 200, 400, 40K buy-in, each table, we're going to play 20,000 hands. What kind of bankroll, if you were to take all of yourself, would you feel like, okay, I feel comfortable doing this. I feel comfortable buying in for $80,000 for the next couple of months continuously, no matter what. What's the bankroll minimum number that you would say, okay, I can do this? And obviously you have to think about this for a second. What do you need? What do you need? 5 million, 10 million? Like what's...
That's an interesting question.
Obviously, yeah, you can't give a quick answer to that. You got to think about that for a second. Sean Wall in the chat says $5 million.
I was a snap 5 million too. It's like he thought about it. He's thought about this before. He's like, yes, I've been waiting for this question.
I was thinking about that, you know, a little bit ago, getting ready for the show. I was like, man, how much would I need to where I would feel comfortable? Because obviously the swings on this are pretty hefty. $100,000 swings on the daily, so...
I just noticed our first over bet of the day here. Landon just bet 10K into that about 6-7K pot on the right, and Bill folded. Yeah, so we got paired board on the left here and single raised pot.
Wow, in PokerStar, if you consider yourself the favorite, 3 million. Ease Alex says 2 million. You guys are crazy, man. You're crazy.
Of course, Party's got to say I do a buy-in or two.
There we go. Yeah, Benjamin, Guru, and Berkey had to escrow 2 million to Jeff Gross for their heads-up match. It's the same stakes, but it's actually double the buy-in. But they're only playing one table, I think. So yeah, it's pretty much the same thing, right? $2 million escrow. But that's not like their whole bankroll. That's just like they got 2 million to put off to the side here. We're talking about what's your total bankroll have to be. And obviously when I heard that, I was like, okay, I wonder what Guru and Berkey's total bankrolls are if they could just escrow 2 million off to the side here for this heads-up match. And must be nice. Hopefully I can do that one day. I
know, that's pretty wild, man, too. When I saw that, I was like, oh, it's just like that easy to like scrounge up. Even if you have people with a percent of your action still to just be able to scrounge up. All right, I got my million, like, let's do this. And
I saw Guru on one of his tweets say that I'm gonna have 80% of myself. So that means that 1.6 million of that 2 million is his essentially. So that's crazy stuff, man.
So we're gonna replay here. Bill's got 8-10 of hearts. Landon raises it up. For sure going to see it here.
And yes, this was the big hand right when the stream started. Biggest pot we've seen here today. Bill Perkins flops the open-ended straight draw, backdoor flush draw. Emphasis on the backdoor flush draw.
Ooh, this is spicy on the turn.
Flock was check, check. Bill puts a little 2K pot size bet out. Landon says, I'm going to pot you to 11K. Very sizable, 24,000 in the middle. I'm actually a little surprised here that Bill Perkins just decided to check this river.
I think when Landon raised the turn there, he's probably anticipating him to keep up the aggression on the river. But what I was personally a little bit more surprised about, Landon chose to not bet the 2-pair on the river there.
Great check back.
Yeah, I may have made the mistake there, trying to get some thin value, betting that 2-pair on the river.
Yeah, it's a super G check back. Losing the minimum, gotta feel good about that. One of those spots where you lose the pot, but you feel like you're winning.
I've been all over the place on the river lately, man, trying to throw out these thin value bets, value owning myself, and then seeing that check back, I was like, maybe I am, you know what I mean? A little too greedy at times.
Hey, 2 of my favorite home games commentating today. What's up, Jay Pena? What's up, man?
How's it going, buddy? Yeah, very specific there, Zachary, to put him just on the heart draw. I would think Bill's range when he raises there, for sure, exactly like what he had, has some sort of draws in it. So I guess if it's only the flush draw he's put on, the 8-10, I imagine Bill's calling. If he happened to have a 8-10 offsuit, it's definitely defending pre-flop. And they went check, check on the flop. So I'd imagine he's still calling the raise with the 8-10 offsuit as well.
And I couldn't agree more right there. Trez to win in the chat says Bill could have bet a little bit less than 1/2 pot there. I think like a 1/3, like 24,000 in the middle, bet a little sexy, like 8,900. I can't imagine Landon's just gonna fold 2-pair there on the river, even facing a river bet. I think like a 1/3 sizing would have been pretty nice. And obviously, even though it's only 1/3 the pot, it would have been an extra 8,000 in the bank right there. That's what I'm thinking right there. I would like to see the 1/3 pot on the river, somewhere around that sizing. I don't think Landon. That would have been, think about if you're Landon. That's really tough to fold that 2-pair right there.
For sure, 100%. We got a 4-bet here on the right.
Ooh, I love those 4 bets. I love those 4 bets.
Timing seems decent. I was trying. Ooh, let's go. Oh my gosh, Landon hits a 10.
Oh my goodness.
Bill, for you, Bill. One time.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I tried to use a big snap. Sick pot, man.
Oh my goodness. Nice little 82% favorite for a little cool 85K gone wrong for Bill Perkins. Hi-ya.
Dang.
The dream turned into the nightmare.
I hope Landon fist pumped at least when he hit that 10. You have to fist pump there.
So am I the only person, like anytime I ever see 10s go in pre-flop in any situation heads up, I always think of Tom Dwan. Phil Hellmuth back in the day. You know what I'm talking about? Where he had the
No, I don't remember that one.
Way back in the day, like 2011. It was Tom Dwan, like right when he started coming up. He was playing Phil Hellmuth in the Heads Up Poker Championship that they used to run all the time, USPC, I think. And he got it in for a lot of big blinds with 10s against Phil Hellmuth's aces, all in pre-flop. 10 spiked on the turn. Of course, Phil Hellmuth goes crazy, and Tom Dwan goes, dude, 10s standard, get the hell out of here, Phil. Like, and that's where Phil Hellmuth gave his classic rant of like, oh, you're not even gonna be around here in a couple of years, kid, getting it all in pre-flop with 10s,
Oh, that is funny. That is
great
funny.
clip. You gotta check that out. It's a good one.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, let's see if you're around in 5 years. That's exactly what he said. So funny.
Yeah, I missed that heads up, the NBC heads up, but it seems like we're kind of a lot of things in poker for us that we missed from back in the day, kind of starting to make a comeback.
Yep. Hey, Jamie Freitag. What's up, brother? Welcome in.
You two dice, Jamie.
Jamie's the man. A lot of 3-betting going on today. Love to see it.
Yes.
We want to see blood. Ooh, 6-7-8 rainbow. This could be a nice little one of those. Hopefully both players have a little something here and we see a big pots. We all want to see, right? We want to see the
blood.
We want to see the blood. There's no other way to say it. We want to see the action. We want to see the big pots flowing.
Let's see. All right. So we have a $55 ticket giveaway that we just started up. 10s for pain. Ooh, that was good. Pain. Shout out to Trade on that one. That was a good one.
And look at this. We had a bet on the flop, a call, Top pair pairs the board. Just a little 18,000 in the middle. Both players with less than a 2-to-1 stack to pot ratio, and the 3-better Landon, absolute go, firing away again here, about 1/3 pot on the turn. And another call, and wow, look at that. That's a very crucial river. That's a very crucial river. I think we're gonna see an all-in and a call here.
Please, let's go. Huge pot.
How sick are you if you have the old 9-10 right here? Like, God, come on, man.
I know.
Come on, man. I had the 9-10. Bill said I got the 9-10 suited on the button. I got the 9-10 of hearts, too. Come on, man.
Bill having a think.
Wow, so Landon checks. Both players check. And wow, the bottom boat, Bill Perkins more than happy to take that one down.
Sick. Big pot there. So that was bet on the turn. Landon. So flop must have went check, check. Landon bet the turn then. Bill called.
Flop goes Landon bet, Bill call. Turn goes Landon bet, Bill call, and then river goes check, check.
All right. So Landon's got what? Some sort of ace high showdown value, ace-9, king-9, ace-10 there when it plays out that way, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I would imagine. And here, yeah, here's the 10s for pain, man. 10s for pain.
Landon raises, Bill 4 bets, or 3 bets, 4 bet. Buddy, are you snapping off? I mean, I guess Bill's got to have ace king, ace queen here, and snapping the 10s, right? I don't know if Bill's getting. Are they getting in 9s here?
Yeah, and obviously there's too many like ace king, ace queens. They're gonna shove over the top of that 4 bet. I'm gonna quote Tom Dom right now from a number of years back. Like 10s heads up, standard. Forget about it. Come on, man. And I believe MJ will be coming on in a little bit. I believe that is the word on the street.
For you guys who want that in-depth heads-up strategy. Nice. So we are going to see MJ. It'll be here, everybody. This match is about to intensify.
All right, so yeah, Justin Kelly informing us. MJ in the house, gonna be joining us here in just a short moment. Gotta love it.
Hey, Momac, good to see you out there. MJ's great. Great insight, great passion, great energy, just like super fired up. So it's great to have him on.
Oh, yeah. There we go. MJ, welcome in, my man. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you? How are you guys?
Really good, really good. Glad to have you on, man. I've been tuning in a little bit with you on the show prior, and I love the energy, man. Welcome back.
I appreciate it, man. So how are we doing today, boys?
Doing good. We're doing good. We just saw a little pocket 10s, pocket queens action all in pre-flop for a little cool 85K pot a minute ago with Landon Tice banking the 10.
Okay.
A lot, and we talked about it a minute ago. We've noticed the aggression level has really skyrocketed today, according, looking at previous matches. I think both players woke up today and said, okay, we're going to start spicing it up a little bit right at the same time, it seems like.
I mean, that's the cool part about heads up, right? Like, it's just pure distribution. So some days you're going to have some lulls. Other days you're going to be super aggressive. It just depends on your roles. I mean, they're both executing from solved pre-flop ranges. So it all depends on what you're rolling that day.
Yep. Well, welcome in, man. Where you at?
I'm in Vegas now. I'm
Nice.
originally from the Bay Area.
Okay.
I moved to LA and then just moved to Vegas about 6
Nice.
months ago.
Nice. How you liking it?
Oh, I absolutely love it, man. I absolutely
yeah.
love it. You're from Folsom, right?
Yeah, I live in Folsom. Yep.
Yeah, I was born in Vallejo.
Okay.
We're like 45 minutes away.
Yeah, not far at all. Yeah, I'm planning on buying a house next year in Vegas. I'm excited for that.
GG, dude.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
Little side spot to shoot out to,
The ACR money taking care of you.
We got this replay here, everybody, from the run out when it went 8-8 just a little bit ago.
So we had a 3-bet from the big blind. Bill Perkins calls on the button. He catches bottom pair on the flop, a little 6-7-8 action.
I'm assuming that's 67% bet there.
Check. Wow, it doesn't.
Landon bet big on the flop, bet 1/3 on the turn. And then Bill Perkins more than happy to see Landon check to him here in this spot with the bottom boat. Would have been a real tough spot. Oh, wow, he did flop the straight. We talked about, I said, what if someone has 9-10 here? How much do you hate this run out? And he actually did. Look at that sickness right there. That's a little makeup, though, for the queens versus 10s, if we're being fair, right?
Yeah.
still a sick one. Wow, he really did flop the straight.
That is actually pretty funny. That is funny.
So typically on like the King 9-7 boards, you're gonna see bigger bets, but like on King X boards, typically you're gonna see block size bets. King 7-9 and some other combinations of King 9X are exceptions where you can have pot size bets.
And now, MJ, I got to ask you this. I don't know if you heard me ask this right before you came on, and this is something I was thinking about earlier. If Bill Perkins were to hit you up right now and say, hey, we're going to run this challenge back, me against you, 200, 400, 2 tables, 40K each, same rules, everything going on here. You have to have 100% of yourself. What would your bankroll have to be on the minimum to say, okay, I'm going to do this. I feel comfortable doing this?
4 million.
4 million?
Yeah, I mean, look, I have 30,000 hands with Perkins.
Okay, so you got a little, okay.
So I know what my BB per 100 is against him.
Okay, so just imagine for my situation, you didn't have any hand history with Bill Perkins, maybe
yeah,
5,
yeah. I mean, look,
4 or 5
think,
right around there.
I think conservatively, you want 10 million.
Okay, so that's what I was thinking. I was like, man, to feel really comfortable, obviously, but obviously, if you feel like, okay, I got the goods, I know what's up, you can go a lot lower than that. I like that though. 4 million. I like the snap call 4 million too. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's an absolute shit ton of variance in heads up. It doesn't matter how big the edge is. There's just going to be massive swings.
Yeah. Small bet and a call. Landon taking a small one there.
Reminder chat, in about 30-ish minutes here, we are going to pick the $55 ticket winner. So type 10s for pain in the chat.
I'll also give away another free month for the software.
For hybrid poker?
Yes, it's unreleased. It's completely unreleased. It's not
Nice.
released yet. Only our private clients have access to it, but I will absolutely give the winner a free month for it.
Oh
Sick.
yeah, awesome.
Jeez, I need to get in this giveaway. So by the way, MJ, I might have missed it in one of the prior streams, but did you say when hybrid poker is going to be publicly released yet?
Yeah, WSOP.
Oh, sick. Good timing. Yeah.
And fill me in. This is a training site?
It's a bunch of things. So we have software that for the first time in poker, we can actually show Michael Longcar across his game tree, showing every single node. So in every single spot that you're weak in or you're strong in, we can show you. And so we have all the solves and everything. And so we have software that not only will it show you what you're good and weak at, it'll absolutely streamline how you learn the game. And so we teach poker a little differently than most people. We teach it by heuristics, right? So if you don't understand what the heuristic is for each spot, there's no way you're going to be able to execute like an actual full range strategy on these textures with sizings. But if you know the rules of thumb, it's a great baseline for you.
Wow, that's amazing. So I just like plug all my hand histories in and the computer will spit back everything at me. Is that how it works?
Well, no. So you actually play on our software and it logs everything. So we have AI that, so like if you play for a day, when you log in the next day, it's going to say, all right, Longcar, we're noticing that you're struggling in this node, the bet check check, or the check bet bet, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, across the entire game tree. 2-bet, 3-bet, 4-bet pots for heads up, 6 max, and 9 max. And so not only is the AI doing this for you, it's really cool the way that the information is displayed. Like we really focused on easification and humanization of all these large data sets, right? Because look, we can all agree that the barriers to entry into executing a solid PO strat is just gnarly, right? Like you have to have the right hardware, you have to have the right inputs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we've done effectively all the solver work for you, and we've easified it in a way where it's what we believe for the first time in the history of poker, where it's easily digestible and retainable. And then so on top of that, we actually have, a lot of unique features that no one else offers, like our bucketing system and how we show what parts of our distribution do X, Y, and Z against sizings on different textures. And we break it down into 10% buckets and show you every single spot in that bucket. So for example, in a bet check check, a bet check bet, or a check call, check bet, right? Your range is going to be executing like a 10, 15, 25 with various sizings. Well, the first question you should ask yourself is, okay, what hands fall into that? And what hands are executing these sizings? Well, for the first time, we can show you. And then we take all of your hands and we can actually grade mixed strategies for the first time. So there's so many features and offerings that we have. I'm not even doing it justice just by talking about it here. I'm going to let you guys be the judge of it.
That sounds super next level. That sounds
That's
amazing.
insane.
I'm
Like, if you
checking
are
that
not
out for
jacked
sure,
up,
man.
if you are not jacked up right now,
Oh my goodness.
you know, and you like play poker competitively, I don't know, man. I'm just,
Well, I mean, look, we've been in the lab for 4 years almost, right? We have 30 servers running 24 hours a day, right? And like, if you're not in IT, you're not going to go far in poker on the solver side. That's just truth, right? And so like, we are fortunate enough to, my partner is a large data scientist. And so like, we have access to things that most poker teams and coaching companies do not have. And I do also want to say, without coming across arrogant, every single thing that I'm saying, or that me and my partner say with our private clients, or even to public, like anything that we say, we can prove quantitatively. Absolutely. Like, anybody can challenge. We will happily show our work. And we are confident that we are correct.
Wow. I'm going to check that out, man. I'm excited. You got me all excited. You said about what, October-ish, November-ish? WSOP
Yeah, September.
Nice.
And then so we're coming out on the initial launch. We're going to come out with Heads Up, 6 max and 9 max. And then we're going to go finish the tournaments, and then we're going to finish PLO.
Amazing.
And stuff like that. Yeah.
Amazing. Wow. Look at this. We got a big check raise, 4-card flush on board, paired board. That's what we love to see, man. We want to see the blood. We want to see those big pots flowing. And yeah, MJ, I have to just say, Bill Perkins takedown. I have to say, my birthday is on September 24th, MJ. I just got to put that out there. Okay, I just got to say that.
Absolutely, dude. You know what's really cool, and you know what's interesting about that date?
What's that?
Nothing.
Oh wow!
I'm just kidding, dude.
I'm backhanded by MJ on the stream.
You know what, buddy? Because I just fucking flamed you a little bit. Absolutely, you can have the software for free, pre us going public, and you can be the beta. You can test it with us.
Now you can backhand me anytime you want, just for that. Awesome, man. I appreciate that. That's awesome.
Yeah, you got it, buddy. Yeah, just shoot me a text. I can get you set up.
Awesome.
Immediately.
Cheers, man. I'm looking forward to that.
You don't play much cash though, right? You play mainly tournaments?
I actually used to play a ton of cash. Oh, baby Luke in the house. Say what's up. Say hi.
Hi.
Hey, buddy.
What's up, buddy?
Okay, say bye. Go with mommy. But yeah, actually, that's actually my best game. Like, deep stack cash game is definitely my best game. Definitely my best game. So, been focused about 99% on the tournament grind over the last couple of years, and I'm actually looking forward now, especially with coronavirus kind of thinning out a little bit. Looking forward to getting back into the deep stack cash game live grind really soon.
Nice. Okay, so Perkins goes for the 67. So like, if you guys start seeing these bets, right? Like in the check bet node, right? Like, you're going to have some blocks. You're going to have some 67s. You're going to have some bigger bets even at lower frequencies. But you have to ask yourself, like, what part of my range executes a block size? What part of my range executes a big size, right? Or an overbet size? And then within my distribution, within my dealt range, my hand is X. Where does my hand fall within said range? And how am I going to execute that? Well, so that's primarily what we teach, right? Like, we're going to simplify that way down, and we're going to show you how to understand easily what your range is actually wanting to do, because we can all agree that what your hand does derives from what your range wants to do, right? Like, that's how poker players or professional poker players think. Well, unfortunately, that's not how most poker players think, even at some high levels, you know? But we focus on teaching you how to walk before you can run. And the sky's the limit for us. We've easified the entire game tree with all the complexity. And we don't need to talk about hybrid anymore. We can get back to the match. But I think there are a lot of lessons to be learned with just even seeing Perkins' size choice in the check bet node, right? Like, everything tells a story, right? Everything has a rule of thumb, has its place. And so if you're wanting to get better just by watching Landon play or watching Perkins play, you really need to start breaking down the subtle nuances that you're seeing. Okay, so Landon bet 660 here on the 8-8-10 board. So primarily in a 2-bet pot on paired boards, you're going to have a 27% bet or a 1/3 bet. You're not going to have big bets. And so Perkins, this is a great example here. Perkins is going to raise here. Perkins is going to raise half pot on paired boards, 2-bet pots. When you're faced with a small bet, your check raise is the half pot. And these are the rules. And so once you understand the heuristics across the board, like it just becomes easy for you. Like your game opens up, right? Like you're not firing all these neurons on like, oh, what am I doing? How am I doing this? Like, how am I mixing this? Like it just becomes simplified. And then of course there's always deeper complexities, right? And we can go as deep as you want, but like understanding the heuristics first and foremost, I know I keep hounding on that because it is just so important.
Hell yeah, dude. Hey, just listening to you speak right now, you're getting me more and more excited about hybrid. Like, you know, like one of my favorite things about live poker is sitting around a table and just as I'm doing right now, like I can hear your intelligence just with you speaking, and obviously everything you're saying and talking about hybrid and everything, man. You get me all jacked up, man. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really excited.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's what this is for, right? Like hybrid poker isn't me versus other companies, right? Like that's not how we approach things. It is quite literally our objective for the poker community is like, let's collaborate. It's not going to be me versus Upswing or me versus or us versus Solve for Why. Like, let's get everyone on board. Let's get everyone teaching the way poker needs to be taught for people to retain the information and execute it. Like, let's just all work together and make this better for everybody. That's our approach anyway.
Hell yeah, that sounds amazing. Looking forward to it, man. And we got another 3-bet pot here on the right. Queen deuce 7 2 hearts. Landon leading after 3-betting, taking it down.
I must be behind because I'm seeing A6697 with Perkins.
Oh, I'm looking at the Twitch stream where everyone's watching. We're on like okay, 10 seconds over here. I'm gonna start looking over here.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait a minute, I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, that just finished, and the A66 was still up on the left table.
I'm looking at the wrong table here. I'm looking at the 10 seconds behind table.
That's funny. But yep, pretty even match here today so far, everybody. Bill is down just 6K. We're 3,200 hands into the 20K hand heads up match. And it seems to have slowed down the pace a little bit here. I mean, still added a bit. And we had that big cooler with the 10s versus the queens, but kind of a steady pace here right now, middle of the match. Usually these matches have been going 2 hours, kind of stopping on the dot. They can go longer, but that's the minimum time that they're going to be playing for.
And I have to ask this because I don't know the answer to this. How did this whole heads up match happen? Who proposed it? Who?
Yeah, I mean, I will break down all the details here. So before, so this is a 3-bet pot, 953. So primarily you're going to have bigger size bets here, right? You're going to have 67 size bets. But because it's suited, it's actually going to start shifting what your range wants to do more towards block size bets, right? Because we have to be cognizant of all the draws and flush draws. But we have massive range advantage on 935, so we can now sway that just a little bit back, and we can have bigger sizes. Perkins elects the 67. Turn 3, you're going to see a ton of checks, right? That card is specifically better for Landon's range. And here we go, Landon. Now you're going to see Landon primarily. So GTO executes a 40% size bet when you take initiative. So Perkins 3-bets, checks flop. Now you're taking initiative. So GTO likes a consistent 40%. There's a little bit of other sizes sometimes, but primarily it's 40%. That in itself is a heuristic.
40% on the turn right here?
Yes, when you gain initiative.
I think we saw Landon go about 33, so not too far off.
Right. So GTO executes better at 40%, and then Landon he has some different, inputs and outputs.
There's a shove. We knew it was coming. Wow, and a snap. Wow, both players had the 9. Oh my goodness.
Both played it very well, by the way. So when you see differences in sizings, when you have your solver work, right? When you have your outputs, like the abstractions used is going to dictate the quality of solves that you're going to be outputted with, right? So And what I mean by extraction is like different sizings. If you're using incorrect sizings across the entire game tree, you're not going to get accurate solves, right? So having the right sizings and the sharpest sizings is the key right now, like in the stage of poker that we're in. But both of them played great that hand. On to your next question. How did it start? Well,
yes.
Landon is a serial tweeter, and we all know fucking Perkins is a serial tweeter. And Landon wanted some smoke, and he was just like, fuck it, let's go. And then Perkins was sharp enough to go, all right, I'll play you, but you have to give me 13 big blinds per 100. So Perkins obviously was on the phone with me immediately. And I was like, yeah, I like the strategy of anchoring high. He's going to obviously counter, and we're going to find a good, healthy spot for it. So obviously Landon countered. Perkins recountered and said 9. Landon just wanted the fucking smoke, and he was like, and so
I call.
Yeah, he was just like, call, whatever, cool. It was good for his career. So I think what he did was optimal? If no, but do I think it's good for his career regardless? Yes. So it started that way, and so Bill gets back on the phone with me. He was like, look, can we do this? And I said, I will absolutely be here for you, side by side. We've been together for about 4 years now. But if you don't work harder than I've ever seen you work, I'm out. Right? Because me and my partner just got done with Daniel Negreanu, right? And Daniel got his ass kicked. That being said, his progression rate was unreal. By the end of the match, Daniel was playing quite fucking well, to where Doug Polk even said, Daniel's going to beat most regs that aren't elite in heads up. And that's a huge compliment.
Yeah.
So Perkins was like, you know what? I got it. Let's do it. And so here we are. And then so Perkins put me in charge of the negotiations with Landon's team. So like when you hear people talk about, the 300 big blind resets, well, that's me. When I told Perkins that's what I negotiated for him, he initially was like, why would you do that? That's terrible for me. And I broke down why it's absolutely not terrible for him.
Yeah, the super deep game, totally different game.
So much better for him.
Edge. Yes.
And it's even better than 300 big blinds if you understand what's actually going on. And so he was like, oh, cool, great, thank you.
Yeah.
And then some back and forth for about 3 weeks, and here we are.
Nice. That's awesome.
That is the best answer, chat, that you were going to get to that question. That is like everything from behind the scenes, like all the way in.
Yeah, I am happy to keep my answers at one word if you guys want.
No, that's great.
No, man, that's perfect.
I think personally getting your insight is nice because it helps develop the narrative for some of the people who are kind of just catching stuff on social media, wherever you're consuming it at. And then now you're like, okay, here we are now. How did we get here? So the story just becomes more clear, and I think you can dive into it a bit more. So I love it. And
so from what I've gathered, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little out of touch with a lot of the poker world stuff, even though I'm a professional poker player. I'm guessing I've heard Landon Tice built his role as a youngin in the live cash game scene, is what I heard.
No. So Landon was a micro stakes player 2 years ago. He got backed and he was playing micro stakes, like quite literally like 5 cent, 10 cent, 25 cent, 50 cent, etc. Right. And so he built it up that way, and then surpassed the guy that backed him and was coaching him. Apparently, I don't know the details 100%, but and then he met Lucky Chewy and Nick Schulman. They were like, all right, we'll give you a shot. We'll work with you and we'll back you. And then he started playing not too long ago. He started playing 5, 10, 10, 20. He won a tournament. He had some big ups and some big downs. And then I think he's winning. I'm not sure. I don't know his personal stuff. And then he just signed with Solve for Why. So that's, I think that's how Landon got his start.
MJ, what do you think of this massive raise on the left?
Yeah, massive raise with the backdoor hearts coming in.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's absolutely fine.
Looks like Bill put out some sort of a blocker bet here on the river, which I imagine out of position here is going to be fairly common. I don't know about the board texture, but
feels so nutted to me.
So in the check call check bet node, I believe that's the node that Perkins was in just now. I didn't fully pay attention to the action, but just based on the bet size or the pot size. Perkins is going to have some overbets. He's going to have some 67s and some block sizings like you just saw there. And he's going to have each of those sizings at a different frequency with different parts of his range.
Mizzy Poker leading the heads up match here. You can see in the bottom left, we have an info box. But today, 100 hands. Bill is down 15K. Last we updated, and total for the challenge, we are 3,244 hands in, and Bill is down 112K. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. It's already been quite an exciting match here. We had one big all-in so far. We've had some big overbets on both tables here, and you just saw a big raise there on the left from Landon. So it definitely feels like, to me, at this point in the heads-up match, people are they're getting into a flow. I feel like we're going to see some serious blood, especially the final 10,000 hands. So one thing I wanted to ask you too, I'm sorry, Lankar. No, I was gonna ask MJ, the hybrid poker, is this going to be something you think that recreational players would connect with?
Yes, it's a very, very good question. So we actually have two toggles in our software. We have a button for in the entire framework of one half of the software is dedicated to recreational players and new players. And like, look, if you're new to poker, if you just started playing poker 3 weeks ago, the barriers to entry are 5 million times higher, right? Like to even get somewhat competent. So again, we broke it down in the easiest and simplest way. And so we have half of the software dedicated to the newer recreational players or just newer up and coming players. And then the other half is to quite literally the highest playing elite players. So we cater to everybody. And that was really important with us from minute one when we came up with the business model.
I love that. I love that. That's something I think about a lot, honestly, as a streamer and somebody out there in the poker community. Is I kind of understand where I'm at in my poker journey and the people that are kind of following me. And I'm always thinking of ways to, because I used to do some coaching back in the day. It really helped me learn the game a lot more, actually, teaching people who were not as experienced as me. But one thing I found over time is, like, as you're communicating and trying to teach people the game of poker, there's different player types, different ways to approach people and to have that information stick to them. So with all of the advanced poker concepts, training sites out there nowadays, I've always how can I kind of dumb this down a little bit? And even when I'm streaming, how can I communicate this in a way that's easily digestible to people who just kind of want to relax, have fun, and watch poker, because when people tune into my stream, I think it's like good vibes, it's chill, and you can connect with it. Whereas, of course, there's some other streams where it's some very high level poker with, some words that people may not know. So as I'm hearing you talk more, such a fan here too of poker, watching this high stakes match, I'm thinking about, wow, how are they getting to where they're at? And I know a lot of people out there watching too. It's like, this is so complex, but there's definitely ways to grasp this material and be able to, dive in more. So it's just really cool hearing everything you're saying.
It's funny, most elite poker players are terrible fucking coaches, right? And so, like, if I explain a concept to you, let's go with Lankar. If I say, okay, in the node of check, call, check, bet, you are going to execute X, Y, and Z sizings with these parts of your distribution. That is not too complex for you to understand, right?
Yep.
He bets, you call, turn goes check, check. Now it's on you to bet, right? That is not hard for, hey, check, call, check, bet. Oh shit, I can bet X, Y, and Z. And that's how the entire game tree needs to be broken down. In my bet, I'm allowed X bet, Y bet, and Z bet, right? My flop continuation bet, I'm allowed X and Y, right? Like, when you start breaking the game tree down like that, you start to have a framework that you've never had before, and you're able to view more parts of the game tree faster. And to me, that was always the most important, and I'm with my partner as well. It was so important to be able to speak about poker in a way that if you didn't know the concept, even if you didn't know 10% of it, if you didn't know anything about it, we can still explain it to you, where you can actually teach it back to us. Because if you can't teach it, you don't know it, right? And we don't focus on 8-syllable fucking words, and you know, we don't give a shit about any of that. We just want to make sure that you retain the information.
That's great. That's great, man. Yeah, that's something I'm always just on this whole note. It's something I'm always thinking about, because I know personally family members and friends that don't really know poker are watching my stream right now. So I'm always trying to figure out ways to, like Drew said, communicate everything in a way that like pros will appreciate it and yet beginners will be able to understand it, which is not an easy thing to do.
Right.
And we got a little sizable 13K pot here on the left, wet board. That is phenomenal though, hearing Landon Tice. Just, I mean, what, 2 years ago he was playing micro stakes and now he's here as a 22-year-old man. That's amazing.
It's special.
Very special. Comes out with, what about a 60% pot bet? Set of nines.
Yeah.
Chat, we have about 15 minutes. We're going to be pulling the first $55 ticket winner on ACR. So if you have not typed 10s for pain into the chat yet, go ahead and do so.
Battle anybody. What if your mistakes come from a discipline flaw and not knowledge? Say I make mistakes, I know are mistakes before I do it. What do you suggest to help with that and sharpen the discipline?
Having a better framework of thought, having a better framework of execution. If discipline is your biggest leak, then you don't have a framework, right? Like if you build, I am going to perform X, Y, and Z, and I'm not going to go out of that box. And so effectively, you're going to be a racehorse with blinders on. So all the other noise around you just disappears. And so you go, okay, on this flop texture, I am allowed X, Y, and Z. I will not deviate from that. Even if I know I can exploit, I'm not going to worry about exploitation right now, because what people need to realize is without a GTO baseline, you are never going to be able to deviate enough or accurately enough to exploit them to the max, right? So like the reason why GTO is so special, and there should not be a huge disconnect from GTO, because years ago it was always GTO versus exploitative. That's not a fucking thing. They go hand in hand. You need one for the other. And that's actually why we're called hybrid poker. It's a hybrid of both, right? So having a framework of thought going into anything you do in life, not just poker, will absolutely take care of the discipline side. You're undisciplined because you don't have a framework. You're just kind of throwing things on the wall and see if it sticks, or you're allowing your boredom or your frustration or your lack of attention span, whatever. Like, but if I told you 2 + 2 always equals 4, no matter what, you're never going to give me a different answer because you have that framework set.
Amen. Hell yeah.
Amen. Yep.
And once
Sorry,
again,
I know I can be a little intense sometimes. I'm incredibly passionate about this.
I love it, man. No, I love this. This is great.
Buddy, I think if you weren't that intense about anything you're talking about, chat would get worried. I would be worried. It's like, MJ, like, what's wrong?
Yeah, so I've been told I have the intensity of Phil Ivey's stare in my vocal intonations.
It's a great thing, man.
I connect with that. Yeah, I know. I think a lot of people connect with that for sure.
And we got wow, look at this double pot bet, 24K into 12K. Crucial King of Hearts coming in on the river here.
Can you tell me the line that was taken? What was the action? That's okay.
I was too focused on your intensity, man. I need to.
No, that's okay. Can we get a replay? I will.
Yeah, Justin Kelly, the man, the myth and legend behind the scenes.
Guys if this is bad or not bad.
Yeah, let's get a replay of that one when you can, Justin. Yeah, done it right there. It says it's passion and we see it. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm also not going to hold anything back. I am not biased towards Perkins in this match. If he makes a mistake, I will absolutely point out, like, this isn't a thing. He fucked up. He's misapplying a concept. I'm not here to pad Perkins at all, right? If I see either player make a huge mistake, I'm going to call it out. And if they played well, I'm going to say they played well. I'm completely indifferent.
That's the line right there. Dunner says, "Props to MJ for keeping it real." That's the best way to put it. You know, you can feel when someone's being real, and I think that's what everyone loves about you, MJ. So Justin Kelly says can't replay it, unfortunately, if it doesn't go to showdown. So we cannot see the replay on the hand.
Okay, I have a feeling it was a stutter line. I have a feeling there was a check in there. If that is true, that is not a good hand from Perkins. And I don't mean good hand as in value. I mean that is not a well played hand. And again, it all just goes back to the different heuristics, the rules of thumb. Like I'm not going to break everyone down for you guys, right? But I will point some out.
So question in the chat, MJ. Devils says, I'm new to solvers and software like hybrid poker. How do these programs work when no two opponents are the same? Just teaching you generally what to do?
Can you repeat that question again? I got a text. I'm sorry.
No worries. They said, I'm new to solvers and software like hybrid poker. How do these programs work when no two opponents are the same? Are you just teaching yourself generally what to do?
Yeah, so like it doesn't. So when you're talking about two players being the same, right? Like effectively, you have a framework of exploitative, and that's incredibly common for a new poker player, an average poker player, a low tier pro, and even some top pros, right? Like it's very intuitive for you to find patterns to exploit. That's how our brains work. This is why we see rabbits and elephants in the clouds in the sky. Our brain is trying to build patterns for us, right? So what people need to understand is there are unexploitable ways to play this game. The problem with GTO, because there are some cons, right? Like one of the cons for GTO is you actually forgive some of your opponent's mistakes, right? You don't capitalize on them the way that if I were just playing exploitative, I would max capitalize on them, but then I would leave myself open for counter exploitation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's a million different things, and it's a big snowball. But I would encourage you to approach the game from a theoretical standpoint and less so from no two players are the same or an exploitative standpoint first. Start with theory, then move on to deviation to exploit, and you will have an incredibly well-rounded game. I can guarantee it. Whether it's with hybrid or another coaching company, that doesn't matter to me. But that's how you approach this game.
Love that breakdown. And yes, once again, just in case any of you out there, I'm sure there's a couple of you out there just tuning in, wondering what's going on. Gas trader, also known as Bill Perkins, big time poker player, billionaire, has always had a big touch on the poker community, has always been in the high stakes realm for years now. He is heads up with newcomer Landon Tice, 22-year-old phenom, and they're playing 200, 400, no limit cash games. Yes, this is real cash. $40,000 buy-in on both tables, and there is a rule that if either player hits 300 big blinds, which is a $120,000 point on either table, they reset, go to another table, continue to play two tables with 40K buy-ins each. And this is an ongoing challenge until 20,000 hands is reached. And as you see in the bottom left corner here on the ticker, today we're just coming up on the 150 hand mark. They've played about 3,300 hands total. And Bill Perkins, as MJ was saying a little bit earlier, is aware Landon has the edge here. So he has spotted a $720, correct? $720,000 handicap. And that is the even line that Landon has to go above when this challenge is done to be profitable. So if Bill Perkins loses $500,000 at the end of this match, he will be in the profit because of the handicap.
Yep.
And I guess both players are taking a little break.
So on topic to Landon there being the 22-year-old phenom, I was looking at his Twitter earlier, and he says, let me make something clear that I'm sure everyone cares about. And he has sold a lot of action for this. He's 22 years old. How are you playing a millionaire here heads up in this match? And he mentions that he's not rolled to battle at the nosebleeds. However, he does have a very large amount of his relative net worth on himself winning it. That said, MJ, I want to ask you, how important do you think it is to have a certain amount of skin in the game in order to play your best? Like if he was playing fully backed for this, that changes things a bit, right?
No,
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 you think it's the
I
same?
think that's a logical fallacy. I think if you're
Okay.
trying to execute at a theory level, you're just going to execute at that level. You know, it depends on how much conviction you have, right? And it depends on how much motivation you have to progress and evolve, right? Like, so, and there's like an ethical grounding there, right? So like what you're kind of essentially explaining is conditional morality. Like I'm going to try even harder if it's all my money versus if it's someone else's money. That doesn't make sense. Like, to me, that's unethical, right? So if you're gonna do anything, you need to give it 110%, or don't do it. You don't. Yourself doesn't deserve that bullshit, and whomever you're getting money from doesn't deserve that bullshit, right? So it's like, if you're gonna accept the challenge, you give 100%. That's it. So to me, it should not matter how much of yourself or how much other people have. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you're here to do a job. You fucking execute like a professional, and that is it. Now, I know I come off a bit harsh, but I am, because it is common in the poker world for people to be like, yeah, if this were my money, I would do X, or if this were my money, I would do Y. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about, you scumbag? Like, just fucking execute what's supposed to be executed. Like, play your best regardless. You're not going to study more because it's your money, right? Like, your money is equally important, if not less important, than your backers' money, right? They're putting faith and trust into you. Like, so I just disagree with that personally.
I love that answer.
Sense.
In fact, that reminds me. It makes me think about, a few different friends who have played the World Series of Poker main event completely backed, and everything you said feels exactly true to what they were feeling. Is like, if anything, I feel like I'm going to play harder being backed because I feel like it's someone else's money. But like, nonetheless, when you're in the game, you're just playing the game. You're playing your best.
Yeah.
And if you really are just playing pure game, it doesn't matter if you're.
It's so easy to let conditional morality. It's easy to let conditional morality in the rationalization zone, right? And like, as a poker player, you need to avoid two things primarily. One, your fucking ego. You're nowhere near as good as you think you are. I promise you. And that goes including my fucking self.
I think everyone in the world fits that category, honestly, for poker, man.
Right. Everyone seems to think they're more valuable than they actually are. Everyone's disposable to a certain degree. So the ego, like, drop the fucking ego. And the other is rationalization, right? Like, you just got to stop lying to yourself. Like, you just got to be intellectually honest. And I mean that word. That is a very key word, intellectually honest. That's different than just being an honest person, right? Being able to look inwards and see yourself in front of the mirror for what it actually is. Having some framework of logic and taking emotion out of it. That's how you make decisions. That's how you put yourself in good spots with good people around you, because they can see it. They can see how much conviction you have. They can see how ethical you are. They can see how much time you put in and work. And a lot of the sharpest people in the world and the richest people in the world, they don't say a word. They just watch. You are constantly on interview across the entire board of your life. And so, like, avoid the two pitfalls of ego and rationalization, and you will do just fucking fine, I promise. Another concept, and I know this is a bit long-winded, but another concept that people don't seem to understand yet as much as they should, in my personal opinion, is that poker is a social ladder, right? The nicer you are, the better person you are, the cleaner your reputation, etc. The further you're going to go and the better games you're going to get into, right? And so it's like, you just have to ask yourself, why am I playing? Am I playing for fame, or am I playing for money, right? And so if you're playing for money, you can take the route that Ike Haxton took. Ike isn't allowed in the fucking best private games in the world. And if you're there for money, right, and as long as you're doing it ethically, you find yourself in games where you take your ego completely out. I will sacrifice some EV pre-flop here and make losing decisions to be able to, one, stay in a game, have fun with people, meet great people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a big difference between the private world and the casino world.
Hell yeah. I love all that. And I really love the ego part of it you're talking about. Because I've personally been thinking about that a lot, about myself. I'm 34 now, about to be 35. And like, I'm a totally different mindset as a poker player and as a person than I was, say, 10 years ago, where I wanted to prove to everyone, always had to play the biggest game in the room, always wanted to prove, always had the goal of being the next Phil Ivey, and I want to be, on top of the, all of it and everything, being more mature now and letting go a lot of that ego and not caring as much about wanting to be the best and proving that I'm the best and just making the best decisions I can to make the most money. As you're talking about, I love what you're talking about with like, especially in the live cash game setting of sacrificing a little bit here and there because it'll make me more down the road and make me more likable, make me more acceptable. I love everything you just said right there.
I appreciate
If you guys are listening to that, that's major advice right there and knowledge drop right there. What he just said. Like, it's not talked about enough, MJ. It's just not.
I agree. I absolutely agree with you. And let's be realistic here. Like, I fucking struggle with ego too, right? Like, I'm playing fucking nosebleeds every day. Like, and sometimes it's hard to fucking your inner voice. It's like, yeah, get fucked. I just fucking called you with fourth pair for fucking 200K. Like, get fucked, right? Like, but then it's really important for you to be cognizant of like, yo, shut the fuck up. Who do you think you are? Like, it's a poker hand. Like, in the scheme of life, like, you need to fucking relax and chill out. Like,
and that right there is why I will say the number one most annoying thing about poker players is guys that have this ultra high, beyond sky high level of cockiness in life. To me, I'm like, man, like, you're good at this little card game. Tone it down a little bit, brother. Like, let's, you know what I mean? It's a little annoying to me, you know? And it's easy to fall into that trap. It's so easy to fall into that trap.
You're right. You know what? And at the end of the day, humans are going to do human things, right? And we are all guilty of every single thing that I just said. We are all guilty of fucking telling white lies. We are all guilty of saying stupid shit that we shouldn't have done or doing stupid things that we shouldn't have done, right? Like, stop persecuting everyone. We're just fucking human. Evolve or get shunned, right? But evolve and just move past it and try to work. And what really helped me was having my daughter. And I'm sure it's the same for you, Michael. Like, having your son and your stepchildren, I'm sure that it's like completely opened up your perception.
Oh, huge.
And your order of magnitudes of maturity and responsibility. Yeah. And like, once you have like a true responsibility, that will evolve into maturity. And that maturity evolves into, how am I going to have self-evolution in the healthiest possible way? Because I'm no longer doing this for myself. I'm doing this for my family to provide, right? Yep. And then when you realize that, you lose the ego.
Yep.
Because it doesn't matter.
Of course.
Like, half of the fucking people in this chat right now can think I'm complete trash. I don't care. I don't care. I'm playing Dan Smith right now in a very big heads up match. I don't care if he's better than me. I don't care if I'm better than him. I just want to battle. And if I lose, I'm going to go on to the next guy and I'm going to play Limitless, right? And if I win, I'm going to go on to the next guy. I'm going to play fucking True Teller. None of this shit matters to me. I just like the environment of high stakes heads up. I just enjoy it.
Hell yeah. Love that.
Last call here for the one true Bob in the chat. You won the $55 tickets. If you would like to claim it, please tag America's Card Room.
He also won a month free to Hybrid Poker's software.
Hey, there we go. There we go. And yo, Justin Kelly, I know you said you saved that King 9 of Spades hand while we were talking here. Landon made a big hero call on the river, turned to the flush draw, called the third pair. Justin, when you can, let's get a replay of that. I really want to replay that hand. It's a nice hand to talk about.
Yeah, sorry. Michael got me fired up about a couple things. So let's get back to poker. I will be directly on poker for the next hour. You got me.
Sorry, not sorry. Okay, we'll replay the hand at the end of the stream. Perfect. Yep. Yeah, that was a crucial hand. Well, if you guys noticed that, I think it was like a low 9 Jack Ace 7 board where there were 2 spades on the river, no flush came in, and Landon checked out of position on the river with King 9 of Spades, flopped the middle pair, turned the flush draw with the Ace of Spades, and Bill Perkins put a 67% believable, I have an ace minimum type of feel bet to it on the river, and Landon sniffed it out and called with third pair 9s top kicker, which was pretty impressive right there.
So depending on the combo and suits that Perkins had in his hand, that'll dictate if it's a good bet or not. Not the fact that he won the hand. We don't care about the results. We're not results oriented, but we do care about the type of hand he used to execute that bluff.
It's like we have Landon's mom in the chat hanging out watching. Hello there, Miss Tice. She says,
I saw them say that. I was like, I saw someone say, hi, how's Landon doing? I'm his mom. I was like, okay, probably not his mom. If it really is Landon's mom, what's up, Landon's mom?
Landon is winning Landon's mom. I'm sure you will be proud, as if you always are of him, and as you should be. He is winning this match right now.
Yep.
Nice.
That's exciting. It is. I'd confirm that, but yeah, that is exciting to be able to like watch your son on this stage, do what he loves to do, and to see, her come through and say hi, rooting him on. This is cool. This is a fun moment. So hello.
Hell yeah, welcome in.
That being said, I'm so sorry, but I still want your son to lose. Not your son per se, not your son, but his team. I want his team to lose. So I'm like 95% sure Bill's getting a text message right now from his daughter or from somebody, and he has to take a short break.
That sounds Billish.
Mama says, I have no understanding of poker, but always support. He must win. Spoken from Mama. Love it. Super supportive. Love to hear it. And yes, Landon. Looks like Landon is about plus $40,000 right now today. So
Up a buy-in.
Up a nice buy-in.
All right, give me a story time. Someone tell me a fun story from their poker journey.
Chat, you want to share some of your stories?
Oh, I have a fun one. If you guys want to hear a fun one.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
All right.
So primarily, I play in the high stakes private world, right? And so we're playing a very large game in one of the nightclubs upstairs on the Sunset Strip in LA, just how you would picture it in a movie, right? And we're playing, and there is a doctor and a lawyer. And I suck out on the doctor for a very big pot. I river a gut shot. I was bluffing. He called. Whatever. Who cares? The female behind him, behind the lawyer, pointed at the doctor and started laughing at him in his face, just like literally pointing across the table.
That's one of the worst things about live poker, man. That's the worst.
And I'm like, oh shit. Well, the woman behind the doctor, hold on, sorry. The woman behind the doctor, sorry, I just clicked something.
Started a cat fight.
Can you hear me? So the woman behind the doctor jumps over the table, grabs the woman's hair, and starts slamming it on the table. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Security is running over, right? 2 big security guards running over. They're only like 15 feet away. They get 5 feet away, and the guy stands up and yells at the top of his lungs, stop. Everybody stands perfectly still. The girls, mid-fight on table, both look up and everyone's still. You can hear a pin drop. And he goes, this shit is not going to happen unless I can bet $10,000 that my girl wins. And everyone starts roaring, and the lawyer goes, booked, and he goes, okay, fight. And they continue to fight.
And the security guards chilled back?
Security guards let them fight.
Stop it.
And he bumps shoulders with me, and he goes, she used to be a professional fighter. That's how you make $10,000. Oh
my gosh.
It was one of the best nights of my entire life.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
So that's a bit of the LA poker scene for you guys.
Oh,
That's a good one. That must have been a private, not a casino, right? It must have been a private game.
No, private game.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Wow,
She used to
that
be
is
professional.
super funny.
She used to be professional.
To be on top of your game like that too, and to see the spot,
Which one? I've had many. Yeah, I mean, I'm being talked to by Train about all the prop bets that I get involved. I'm a serial prop better. I get in as many as I possibly can. So actually,
I would love to hear this because I actually just started doing push-ups yesterday. So I'm curious what you're gonna say right now.
Yeah. So the reason why John Party wore a curtain for 24 hours was because of me. He won that bet. But we get into tons of push-ups and jumping on one foot and sit-up, everything you can bet on, we bet on it. So the push-up bet, I believe, if I remember correctly, we've had so many. I think it's doing, what was it? 200 push-ups in 9 minutes or something.
Man, that's tough.
Yes. Yeah. So I bet someone, and he was one on the bigger side, and he banged it out. But I was able to cross with others to hedge, and I actually ended up winning. Like, but there's the sports betting world and the poker betting world is just insane.
It is insane. So I saw someone posted a clip the other day from the Antonio Escondiari high stakes when he was doing push-ups off to the side of the table with Patrick Antonius and those guys. And I can't remember the guy's name, but he was saying a push-up is the chest to the ground. Now, I've always thought a push-up is the nose to the ground. What's the official, like?
Well, we always do it chest.
Okay.
Yeah, nose. I mean, I just feel like that's a bit too hard to regulate.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure you can set any terms you want. Like, speaking of Antonio, he's one of the most notorious prop bettors of all time, and he's quite literally the best. Perkins is a big prop better. Actually, Perkins just lost a prop bet to me about 5 days ago.
What was it?
We were supposed to come up with a 5-minute comedy routine.
Okay.
And the only rules were you can't share your material with anybody outside of my wife and his fiance. You can't practice in for anybody. You can't tell anybody about it. And we were going to go to an open mic night, and we were going to poll the crowd and see who enjoyed one of ours better. And so we bet 50,000. And he texts me like 5 days ago or 6 days ago. Hey, I just I wanted to know when we want to do the bet. And I was like, well, we can do it anytime. And he goes, yeah, I just told Doug some of my routine. I'm ready. And I'm like, wait a minute. Told Doug some of your routine? You immediately lose. I win. And he goes, no. I was just having conversation with him. And I said, okay, how about this? We'll let your fiance arbitrate, and we'll let her decide if the bet's still on or if I win. So he calls me. He calls his fiance, and he explains to her. Snap immediately. He was like, or she was like, MJ wins. so like, Perkins just likes to bet on literally anything.
That's funny.
He's not good at it, by the way. He's not good at it at all.
Big pot on the left here.
20,000
20K in the middle. Yep.
Little quarter pot bet by Bill Perkins.
Yep. So Chris, by the way, the tens for pain is for a $55 ACR ticket in the chat. Could be pulling that winner in a little bit here.
We have a bet and a call. $31,000 pot, pocket eights.
That was a very poorly played hand by Perkins.
I think about that a bit when I'm seeing a small bet sizing on the river there, about how hands like pocket eights have a much easier call, if we're bluffing some sort of ace high missed draw there. But I'm sure, well, you did say that he could have played that better, but I think about that a bit. I think probably some newer players to the game as well probably think about that, when you're putting out a small sizing on the river, especially if you're bluffing, it's just easy to call. And I've seen that happen a few times myself playing. I'm like, I wonder if I should have went bigger here.
That's kind of my general rule, like thinking about when I'm talking earlier too about when I'm coaching newer players to the game. And that's kind of like a general rule when I'm speaking and teaching more novice players is when you're going to choose spots to selectively bluff on the river, generally like to go a little bit larger, like right there. I'd love to see if Landon can call there if Bill Perkins goes with like a 67% sizing. And I'm talking obviously in a general, not all the time, but kind of a general rule to live by when you're talking about low stakes.
I somewhat disagree, right? Like you need to have the appropriate amount of bluffs in your block size, in your 67, your pot size, your overbets. And it's just, you need to have a bluffing frequency. And so if you're hitting that bluff frequency, you're going to have the appropriate mix at all these sizings. So it doesn't really matter. I'm not basing the fact that Landon was able to call 2/8 there, right? Like, and saying that was poorly executed by Perkins. If the line was what I thought it was, and the sizings used by Perkins, I don't think that's an optimal sizing to be used. So we'll find out when we run it later on, or if we have a replay. But no, you absolutely should and can have enough bluffs in your small bets as well. Like I just don't want people to be too result oriented, right? And it's very easy to, especially in this game, when you're like, oh well, he did bet small. Like if I had bet 67, I would have been able to get the bluff through. Well, that's not really how the mechanics of this game works, right? And so having a balance across the sizes on the texture is where it matters the most.
It's going to be very cool to see. At the end of the stream, we'll be able to play back that hand and see exactly how it went down. And then MJ, you can definitely give us a more precise vibe on that one. So that'll be cool. Pot size bet on the left and a call.
This should be a block size from Perkins. And he goes for 67.
Rolled low, I guess, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, he's rolling, he's doing his thing. I mean, typically on one-liners, you're going to have, when you're out of position, you're going to have the smaller size.
Looks like both players are sitting out on the right. We might be about to have another little break here.
Landon obviously trying to decide if he wants to raise or call that river with a straight. Opted with the call, takes it down. Adds just a little more profit to this session, in which he's been accumulating from the beginning here, ever since that tens versus queens hand went down. If you guys missed it, tens versus queens, all in pre-flop, right near the beginning of this match. Landon Tice with the tens, Bill Perkins with the queens, 10 on the flop. Nice little 85K pot ski on that one going to Landon. He's been building pretty much ever since then.
Did you see Lankar on that board? Was there a flush out there? I wonder.
No, there was no flush.
No flush out there?
No flush. Flush did not get there.
So, yeah, I don't know. I'd be thinking about raising that river a bit. No flush out there. The board wasn't paired, just the one-liner, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. 5-7 was the uber nuts. 5 for the straight.
He had 5-8 too. So, but we just saw a call. He thought about it though, obviously, like he said.
Yep.
So he was probably thinking about. Obviously, he wasn't folding, so it was between calling or raising. All right, so we are back to the action here, everybody. Tens for paying in the chat. If you want to be entered for a shot at winning a $55 ticket on ACR, we're going to be pulling that later. Today's match to hit the 2-hour mark is going to go at least another 45 minutes. We got the info on the bottom left here. This session, Perkins is down 60K, and for the challenge in total, he is down just under 160K. Chris Poker, go ahead and type tens for pain in the chat for a shot at winning that ticket. Good luck, buddy. And we're close on the right table here too. Once Landon, who has 106K currently in his stack, hits 120, they will switch tables and reset their stacks back to 40K. MJ, do you think with that dynamic in his heads-up match, is there ever a situation where Landon kind of, I guess that doesn't make sense. You just play to play. I was going to say, tries to keep his stack big and not have the stacks reset.
No.
Yeah.
So you're going to see a check here from Landon almost all the time, and you're going to see a half pot size bet from Perkins, or at least you should.
And Justin Kelly in the chat, America's Cardinals says, at the end of their play, we will go offline temporarily, and then we will be back shortly with a Bill Perkins interview, guys. So stay tuned for that at the end of the stream.
Snap check too from Bill in position there. We're anticipating half pot sizing, I think there, MJ, you said?
On the turn, yes.
Oh, on the turn, okay.
Yeah. And then in the bet check bet node, he's going to have some sizings to choose from. But Landon also has some sizings to choose from in the check call check bet line.
We got a 3-bet on the left here and a call. Ace 9-4 on the right table. We got a spade draw out there.
You're gonna see a small bet. So Landon likes to 3-bet and check like ace 8, ace 10 in these spots. From what we've seen, obviously, he could just be rolling, right? Like it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're going to see 40% from Perkins, because remember, that is the heuristic. When you pick up the aggression, you're going to be betting 40%.
Man, look at this. Big raise on the river here from Bill Perkins. Hearts come in.
Yeah, he's going to pot it.
Take it down.
Landon is half a buy-in away from a reset, which hurts.
I think, MJ, I think you've answered this question before, but Benjamin's wondering, given how skilled Landon is, do you think the 9 big blinds per 100 was reasonable?
I think it was reasonable in the very beginning because he thought Perkins was a complete shit show, which he was. So I actually think it was a good bet in the very beginning. I still think that he shouldn't have fucking done it, right? Because it sets a bad precedent across the poker ecosystem. But yeah, I think Landon was a small favorite. I still think that Bill is a very, very, very small dog, but he definitely has a chance right now. Absolutely. Bill's playing quite well for where he was, and he will continue to get better. That being said, Landon will also get better. So we'll see. It's going to be close.
I'm going to have to clip what you just said, because I had a bunch of pro friends reach out to me when this whole match was set up, and all 3 of my friends were like, dude, Bill Perkins is definitely the favorite here. And I said, I think Landon's a slight favorite. Exactly what you just said. So I got to clip what you just said and send it to them.
Yeah, he was in the very beginning, right? Like, no one knew how much Perkins was going to spend on this, right? And like, I didn't think we were going to spend as much time as we had. So 3-bet pot here. King 9 Jack, so that you can consider this 2 Broadway, 2 suits. So you're going to have some pot size bets here.
Hopefully this is the exact flop that we need here to see another big, big pot go down. Obviously, this could be it. Super wet, coordinated flop, 3-bet pot. Landon goes with the over bet.
Oh dear.
And wow, there we go.
One-liner.
It has been called. 25,000 in the middle.
Yeah,
Very crucial Queen of Hearts coming in on the turn.
You're going to see a mixtures of sizings from Landon, primarily check, but you're going to see some. You're going to see a myriad of different sizes. All of them are available. Yeah. Okay.
And wow, not the river I was hoping to see here, obviously.
Okay. Well, Landon has an advantage here. And he is going to execute on that advantage. Oh dear.
Oh dear. I like hearing that. Coach here is just waiting to see what Bill decides.
So obviously Gas Trader does not have an ace, trying to decide most likely if he wants to call for the chop.
If he calls here and loses, which will most likely be the case, we are going to see for the first time in the match just how well Bill can fight tilt. And even with him making the fold here, Bill is going to be fighting off some tilt, right? So it's really important how he executes this strategy in the next half an hour, because it could get a little spicy.
So what makes you think that, or what makes you say that he's going to be fighting tilts? Is there a specific moment, or you just kind of know, like you can sense it with a couple of pots?
Yeah, when Bill calls on that texture and, you know, the line taken, he's not just going to have air, right? So like, he's going to enjoy the spot that he's in, and when it runs out with a one-liner where it's massive advantage for Landon, he is going to be
very frustrated,
emotional about it, right? So when Perkins gets a little bit of emotion going on, he tends to be a little spicy. You know, the RNG tends to roll a little low, right? Like his aggression seems to go up a little bit. And when I say his RNG rolls low, like the way we execute RNG is so we use the lower for the aggression. So if you have a 10% frequency of doing X, you know, when you roll and it's sub 10, you execute. When it's above 10, you don't. Some players or some people, especially I believe Europeans, execute on the high side, which to me, they're psychopaths.
This is live. There, Falshab. This is live.
You have any interest in heads up, Longcar?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I actually went through like a 4 or 5 month period a number of years back where I just played nothing but multi-tabling heads up, high stakes sit and goes for like 4 or 5 months. So I've always enjoyed heads up. Yep.
Nice. What about you, Drew?
You know what? I have been, as I've been watching these matches, I have been wanting to dig in more. I haven't in the past, but you have definitely, through these broadcasts, really like kind of lit a flame in my spirit. Like I'm convinced that this is a section I need to dig in because I haven't really dug in the past at all. So I'm about it. And I am going to be spending my first full like 2 months in Vegas this fall. So I really want to utilize these upcoming months here to get into a much better routine than I've been in the last couple of months. And prioritizing getting better at poker is one of those things big time. So
cool. I mean, yeah, you guys have very big platforms, you know, it's a lot of good content for you guys there. That's great. I mean, when I see matches like this, it just gets my blood going. I am ready. I am in. Let's go. I love it so much.
I've always loved the heads up aspect. It's so, like, you know, people talk about how tournaments are more of a cutthroat experience than cash games. And obviously heads up is that next level. I love to see it.
Yeah. You know, like I just love poker in general. Like I just played on the 200, 400, 400, 800 Poker Go stream.
Yep.
You know, with Dan Smith and Dan Negrano. I am just so in love with the game. All variants of it. It's because I didn't always love it, right? I loved it in the very beginning, and then I kind of, you know, there's love hate, right?
Yeah.
And then now I'm so in love with it. It's just such a beautiful game.
So many levels.
Yeah.
I've always loved heads up. I've played over 150,000 sit and goes, so obviously I've played a lot of heads ups. You know,
you have
so
some
obviously
volume, brother.
More short stacked, obviously, in sit and goes, but still, like, you know, especially when you're multi-tabling sit and goes, you're playing against a lot of the same regs. So you build that history and love the, you know, adapt, readapt, the whole dynamic of, you know, just battling certain players all the time.
You came in contact with a lot of the bots, right? Because I assume this was years ago. So you had to avoid the bots, all the teams of players for the sit and goes, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, the good old days when
the Wild West.
Yeah, man, sit and goes were the bee's knees back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you got Supernova Elite, right? Like you got tons of points that way.
Yep.
Poker UFC fan says, serious question. In any of these pro heads up matches, really, what if somebody has to poop? And I mean, that could have just happened a minute ago, a couple times here throughout the course of this match. Bill and Landon have both had to like sit out for a minute. So, I mean, yeah, you just sit out. And you. It
happened to me the other week when I was playing Dan in Ivy's room. Like, I'm sitting there and I raised the river and I just got the feeling and I was like, oh no, not right now. Cause I'm bluffing, right? I'm like, not right now. And so like, and the problem is these pots are big. So like Dan takes his time, right? As well as he should. So he tanks for like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. To me, it felt like a fucking lifetime. And immediately after, I'm like, yo, I gotta take a break. I'm out. Like, it was so painful.
Oh, that's funny.
At least I was hoping this story did not end with Dan calling and looking at you and saying, I could tell you had to poop. I could tell how uncomfortable you were. That's why I called. Like,
yeah.
I'm just joking.
That would have been much funnier. Okay, so on ace and some king high boards on these, never mind, I misread the texture. Yes, so on these textures where the middle card, bottom card, and top card pair, they're going to be frequency leads for one big blind. Primarily when a big bet is used on flop from in position. That's the majority of the time. You will see some on ace and king high textures when a small bet is used on flop.
It's funny, as I continue to watch these matches, we are watching a heads up match, but I'm reminded, I mentioned MJ the other day, how important it is to, practice and get good at heads up, because these are just, even here in the one bet or the one blind on the flop bet there, like these are situations we're just in all the time. It's kind of like defending your big blind, right? Like you're exposed to these situations heads up like this so often. And I know me as an MTT, I call myself like an MTT junkie, that's where I like get my fill from. But like it is like there's a good, we're always heads up, right? And we don't even like really realize it.
Right. I mean, so this is kind of why I was saying, like, look, if you want to evolve your game, if you want to progress, I don't care if you just started poker yesterday or if you've been playing for 15 years, I don't give a shit. Heads up is going to absolutely further your game across the board in 6 max, in 9 max, etc. Like there are so many of the same heuristics, not all, but there are a lot that transfer over, right? And like it really going to help like solidify your game even more. The only thing that really changes is, I mean, there's some things post, but the majority of what changes is pre-flop ranges, right? But like knowing the donks, knowing the sizings and stuff, a lot of it transfers over to full ring. And when you play poker correctly, right, you're not playing, you're not making decisions. It is like watching a movie. It is happening to you. The only thing you're really doing is you're executing a role, right? And like that's the highest level, at least at equilibrium, right? Like you were just watching.
That's chat. Deep. If you guys can, I was gonna say, if
wow,
you connect with that, it's deep.
Look at this. We had a big bet on the turn on this 10-7, 10-7 board by Landon. Obviously,
here we go.
Very interesting river. Very interesting river coming out. Boat on board. Expect Landon to bet here. Wouldn't be surprised to see a shove. There it is.
There it is.
There it is.
Landon has the advantage.
Wow. Both players had the boat. Both
baby.
players had the boat, and that is without a doubt the hand of the session at this point. Over a 6-digit pot, going to Bill Perkins. The perfect run out, the perfect situation.
That's painful for Landon.
Wow.
I'm so sorry. I don't mean this purely disrespectful, but get fucked. I am so happy for Perkins right now. But Jesus, that's painful.
That's a sick one right there. That's super sick. So we want to see it, man. We want to see those big action pots. Perfect, absolute perfect run out for Bill Perkins right there. Adam Staley, I saw dudes. So I'm going to chime in on the sit and go talk. They sent out the survey and we're asking people how they would feel about the 180, 90, 45, and 27 person sit and goes like the old days. Are they thinking about bringing it back? If so, are there going to be some incentive to play them like leaderboards and such to bring back that? I'm actually not sure about that. But I will check up on that for you. And I would obviously love to see that happen. I would love to see, especially like the 180 and the 90 max sit and goes, even the 45s. I'd love to see those come back. So I'll get back to you on that, Adam.
I would imagine that they would be part of the sit and crush leaderboard at the least,
yep.
When they do come back. So
Puppy Butter says, MJ, blow my girlfriend a kiss.
You know, for you, dude, because that is so cool and that's so funny. Absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
That's funny. I like that guy.
So just like that with that big pot there, the kings versus Landon's eights with the full house on board.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at that one again, obviously. Hell yeah.
Yep,
Faro
at the
says,
end of
let's
the
go
string.
Perkins. Let's go. Perkins needed that one. If for nothing else, self-preservation. Obviously, that's a game changer. Talking about how you're feeling just a second ago. MJ talking about, we'll see if Bill's going to be on semi-tilt right here. Obviously, a lot of those emotions he was feeling are kind of just instantly shed away, feeling good about yourself. And obviously talking about just game flow, and it's not talked about enough, like just how you're physically feeling. We're human beings. Obviously, we try and mask the emotions. And
I'd actually like to say something directly on that point, Michael, because you bring up a very, very good point. If at any point in time, and I mean this with the most conviction that I have, at any point in time, that you start to feel tilted because of the result of a hand, you should reevaluate should you be in the game. And equally, if you feel good, or if a hand that you win starts to bring you off tilt, you should equally reevaluate whether or not you should be there. If you find yourself saying, please no club, please no club, please no club, no ace, no king, right? And it's very typical for lower stakes players to think like that. If you're thinking like that, you should get up from the game. You should reevaluate your state of mind. You should, because that is not how we're supposed to be thinking when we're at the game, right? If you're coming from a professional standpoint, if you're coming from a recreational and you just want to fucking sweat cards, I am there for it. Absolutely, all good. But if you want to consider yourself professional and you start to get upset at the result of a hand that's out of your control, instead of playing on tilt, right? Because we obviously, everyone knows it's negative EV, like just get up. There's always a game tomorrow, right? You don't need to put yourself through the ringer until you can get to a place where you have an emotional state of indifference. Like, I'm going to win. I'm going to lose X% of time. Did I play the hand correctly or did I not?
And that's on that note, that's something I've always said, that I always respect the tournament grind for that reason. Because you're, especially when you're multi-tabling tournaments online, there is no, there's actually moments I've said on stream, like, if this was cash games right now, I'd be clicking the sit out button on everything and I would take a little 30-minute break and come back, but I can't. I'm locked in right now. I got to stay focused. And obviously the mental part of the game is such a massive thing, especially when you're a tournament grinder, because you especially when you're professional and you have experience, you realize those moments when you're feeling a little off hinge, you're feeling a little uneasy. Maybe you didn't play your best. Maybe you made a bad decision. Maybe you're just running ultra bad, no matter, maybe it's a combination of all those. But when you're in that tournament grind, you got to keep it going. You got to stay focused. And that's why I've always respected tournament pros for that reason. There is no, I'm going to take a break button. There is no, I'm going to come back in a couple hours or take the day off. You got to stay focused and keep going. It's the very difficult thing to do at times.
Yeah, I just want you guys to catch yourself in like the identifiers, right? And the key identifiers are like, if you're upset at the result of a hand, that's going to affect your thought process moving forward. If you are constantly saying no spade, no spade, no spade because your opponent's on a flush draw, you need to recognize that as an identifier of like, oh wow, I am not thinking correctly about my approach to this game. Yep. Right. So like use those as identifiers to kind of recenter yourself. Be like, okay, let's get back to playing correctly, because look, we're only allocated X amount of neurons to fire throughout a decision. Right. And if we're wasting our time thinking about bullshit that doesn't matter, we are not executing our strategy to the best of our ability. Right. That's just 1 + 1 = 2. So primarily just think about what is going to help you the most throughout your session, and thinking about the dumb shit that doesn't help you.
Something I actually did, my favorite poker book, it's a silly little simplistic book, but I've always preached it. I love it. Poker Winners Are Different by Alan Schoonmaker. I love it. It's such a great mindset book. I read it for the first time when I was 23, when I was mass tabling 40 sit and goes at a time. And it just got me to the point of realizing, as I talked about on my stream, like if I get it in a great spot, like doesn't matter what it is, just for simplistic terms, I get it in pre-flop with aces. Mm-hmm. I'm fist pumping and I'm celebrating. And I actually train myself, especially multi-tabling sit and goes, if it's all in pre-flop with aces and I get someone to call, I'm just celebrating. It doesn't matter what the board comes. I don't care if I win or lose. I'm still celebrating. Yes, hell yeah. Like that's, I think it's an important thing to do and train your mind. Mm-hmm. Like if you get a spot that you know is great, just celebrate no matter what. Celebrate the odds, obviously. Like celebrate.
Yeah, I mean, that's spots. Actually...
Celebrate, I played the hand great. I got a big percentage. Hell yes. This is not my last hand of poker. This is not, I've always said that. Unless this is the hand that breaks you off and you can't play poker anymore, which is never the truth, celebrate those spots and feel good about it. And I say on my stream all the time today, like someone comes in after I've been streaming for 5 hours and I've been running bad. How are you doing today? I'm crushing it. I'm not winning the all-ins, but I'm crushing it today. I'm feeling great. I'm playing great, even though the pots aren't going my way. And that's such a key thing to have in your mind, guys, when you're out there playing.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference between winning and winning EV, right? Like, yes. And so, Michael, I actually think your approach is a good entry point. Me personally, I take it a step further. I'm indifferent when I get in aces. I just don't give a shit. Whatever happens is going to happen. So I personally I used to do what you did because I think it's incredibly healthy. And then later on in my journey, I took it to, I don't care regardless. I'm all in, on to the next thing to think about that I need to fire my neurons at, right? And so you're absolutely right. You guys should actually take that as step one and then try to get to a further step.
Hell yeah.
By the way, MJ, I don't know that we've discussed this before, but how did you get your start in poker? Because Loncar's been talking about, mass tabling, heads up, sit and goes all together. I got my start playing single table sit and goes, but I never really mass tabled until like a bit further in my career. But where did you get a start?
Yeah, so I was a professional drummer in a band, a few different bands that we were doing quite well. We toured with bigger bands. We're on MTV. We're doing that whole thing. And one day on tour, I looked around and was just looking out the window on the drive. And I was like, well, we're popular. We're doing big things for what we deemed big things at the time, but we were all broke. And I was like, I'm not going to be able to support I won't be able to support a family. I'm not going to be able to buy a house. Like, we were making dust. And so on the way home from that tour, I was like, I need to find something. I need to figure out something to do. And I get off tour, and it just so happens my neighbor, I was living in a condo complex in Vallejo, California. And my neighbor was outside walking in, and he said, hi. He goes, hey, what are you doing right now? I said, nothing. So he brings me into his house. He invites me over, and they have 2 25-cent, 50-cent poker games going, a private game.
Nice.
And I fell in love. I lost $30,000 the first year. It was my only losing year.
I think it's the first day. I was like, oh, shit, okay.
No, first
That's
year.
Okay. That's
first
okay.
year. But I did lose 30K playing 25-cent, 50-cent. We never played bigger, right? And so,
That's
but
impressive.
I fell in love with the game, right? And so I realized very quickly, like, there's skill to this. Like, I have a brain shaped for this. I can do this. And here I am.
That's awesome.
Sick. I love that.
I think it's always important to say, man, like, there's not so many players that just like, oh, I sat down and I started crushing it. Like, I can remember.
No, I was terrible.
I can actually remember that when I started playing, my dad actually introduced me to online poker when I was 12.
Nice.
There was a website called hotpoker.net. And it's funny now when everyone talks about bots, because that's all the site was. It was a play site where you could automatically tell if there was a human in the game or if it was a bot, because the bots would automatically act super quick. So if everyone's acting really quick, you just knew you're the only human playing limit poker or playing against bots. And that was fun when you're 12 years old learning the game.
Yeah.
And then when I turned 17, my dad said, okay, you can play for real money on my poker account, and I'm going to give you $500.
Multi-accounting. Look
Yeah,
at
I'm gonna
Line
give you-
multi-accounting.
He said, kids, don't do that. So he gave me a $500 bankroll and said, you can only play $5 and $10 sit and goes. And I grinded that $500 down to zero. Cause like I said, almost everyone, you got to learn from the game, learn from the pain, and hardly anyone, especially back in the day when there wasn't all these training sites, there was no training sites, and just learning from experience. And I think a big thing too is like watching, really paying attention to other good players and picking pieces from their game and implementing them in your own game is a big thing.
Yeah, learning through osmosis.
It's an important thing to say to all you guys. Like almost everyone starts off as a losing player. So if any of you guys are watching this channel today, and if you are a losing player, stick with it and continue to absorb pieces from other people's games. And it's amazing now with all the coaching sites and the hybrid poker and all these streams, all these amazing streamers out there. There's so much out there to soak up. So take advantage of that. And if you have the desire and you have the patience, you can become a winning player. It just takes time.
I'd like to take that just one quick step further.
Please do.
Being honest with yourself about whether you're a winning player or losing player, right? Because I see it so commonly in the lower stakes where everyone seems to be a winning player, right? And that's just axiomatically not the case. So I noticed a common trend when I used to coach the lower stakes, years ago. A lot of them wouldn't even keep records. They wouldn't keep track because they couldn't handle seeing all the red numbers that they would log in, right? And so they would just, omit a lot of the records, and they would convince themselves. But I encourage you quite literally the opposite. Like, pay attention to your losing sessions. Pay attention if you're winning or losing, because if you're actually losing, right? And a lot of them are, it's so easy to become good today than it was 10 years ago, right? Like,
sure.
Everybody can execute a winning strategy, right? It just depends on how much time you put in.
So So I think that actually answers a question that we had in the chat. Do you really believe everyone is able to become a winning player? So I think
No.
MJ.
No,
I don't.
no, I don't think everyone can become a winning player, right? Because the bar will be raised and raised and raised and raised and raised.
And there always has to be losers. Yeah, there always has to be losers for there to be winners. So like,
Right,
it's
like,
not possible for everyone to become.
If the skill were compressed, right, all the way down, the house would always win. Everyone would break even effectively. So no, there will always be winners and there will be losers. The important thing that I'm talking about is at least, like, just arbitrarily guessing, right? Like at least 40% of the losers could be winners if they just stopped lying to themselves. And that's a significant portion, right? And just because like you don't win at 5-10 no limit doesn't mean you can't win at 25 cent, 50 cent online, right? Like there are stakes that you could win, of course, right? Will you win at the elite level? Probably not, because you haven't spent 6 years in a cave going over fucking, solves, etc. So no, not everyone's going to be a winner, but I do believe a significant percentage of losers, if they were honest with themselves and studied appropriately and accordingly, that they would be a winner.
And Maxi has rephrases that question after I said that and says, okay, how about, can anyone become a winning poker player? And again, I would say the answer is no. Some people are mentally built for the game and some people just flat out aren't. Like there's some things I'm sure I could go practice forever and I'm just never going to be good at because of who I am as a person. So, it's not everyone. And I think it's a stat that I've heard for years and years and years. And it's got to be somewhat around this ballpark. 93% of all poker players in their lifetime will be in the red. And that's a mind-blowing stat. 93% of all poker players at the end of their life will be down at least a penny.
Yeah, but let me give
That's
you
crazy.
let me give you some good news, guys, because Michael's stone fucking right. But the good news is, with today's level of information and all the outlets and avenues to get said information,
You can put yourself in that 7%.
your chance of winning is significantly higher than it was 5 years ago.
Absolutely.
And
there's a lot of stuff out there.
It all comes down to how you study. If you study, you go on playing at your local 1-2 game, twice a week. That's not study, right? That's not. So I truly believe that 99% of successful poker players have gotten help, need help, right? And so I would personally say, if you're trying to come up in the game, I would have it be 70% study, 30% play until you're comfortable.
And also on that note, start low.
Yeah.
Start lower. If you're not winning, then move down a little bit. And there's no shame in that. I've done that multiple times in my career, especially when I'm going through like a run bad period. Shut off the ego. I'm going to move down in the stakes a little bit, crush for a little bit, builds up some profits, build up the confidence, and then move back up. And that's something that everyone should do.
Yeah.
So as you move to the elite level, what do you think? You said 70-30 study play. As you move, how does that adjust, or how have you adjusted that?
So you adjust that based on your competency. You adjust that based on how many spots are you unsure of in any said game, right? For example, with our software, right? You're like, Michael's going to sit down and play, and it's immediately going to show him what parts of the game tree that he suffers in, right? Is it his bet check bet? Is his check check bet? Is his check raise bet bet, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? And it's going to be glowing right in his face. And so the more he plays, the better he's going to get, and the more confident and less unsure in these spots he's going to get. And so when you're playing in these situations and you are confident in the strategy that you executed, that's when you can start to slightly play more, and you progress that, right? I personally don't believe anybody should be playing any reasonably high stakes game without 50% study. These motherfuckers are sharp today.
Mm-hmm.
Even the recreational players are somewhat sharp, right? And it's like, you just have to work. You have to want it.
And we've got a big medium pot here brewing. 4 cards straight runs out here on table on the left.
You should expect a 67% bet.
And as we see in the stats in the bottom left corner, Perkins making a big comeback, almost back to even. If he can win this hand, he will be in the profit for the day.
Oh,
wow, look
rips.
at that. Massive overshove. Landon taken down.
It's low frequency. Low frequency.
Pop building on the right. We got 7.7K in the middle here.
Brick run out after the King 9 Jack ultra wet flop. And look at that.
Baby.
Bill Perkins flopping the straight, loving that run out, taking down a nice one. And he has hit, as we talked about, he has hit the 3x buy-in mark of 120,000. So they will sit out. We'll come back to another table with a fresh 40K stack on each player's name.
We got about 7 minutes left.
Polish Prince 84. Listening to MJ talk is so euphoric. I love that. Thanks again for being here, man. This has been great. I love this.
I appreciate it, man. I like going back and forth with you.
7 minutes left until the end of the giveaway, everybody. Till the giveaway winner's picked for the 55 ticket. 10s for pain in the chat.
10s for pain. If you guys are wondering why that's the keyword, we saw Landon Tice. Pretty standard in my opinion. 10s versus queens, all in pre-flop spot. Early on in this heads-up match earlier today, where Landon spiked the 10 on the flop for an $85,000 pot. Was continuing to grind, and now the momentum has changed, especially if you guys missed it. We'll replay the hand in a little bit. Bill Perkins had pocket kings against Landon Tice's pocket eights. The board ran out 7, 7, 10, 10, 10. Full house on board. Both players had the better full house on board that was on board, and Bill Perkins won a I believe it was about $107,000 pot to really close the gap on Landon Tice's lead here today. And as we see right there in the bottom left corner, Bill Perkins is down about $1,000, so about even now with almost 300 hands played today.
I'm just waiting for the text. Red light, green light. And what that means is, should I continue to play longer or should I not? So I'm waiting for that text from Perkins.
I mean, I would say 100% at this point. Keep going. Momentum has changed. Definitely seems like he's playing a solid game right now. But you are more of the expert than me, MJ, so obviously I'll leave that to you.
What is even an expert these days? Who fucking knows? Did we lose a button on the right table?
No, the right table, when they reloaded the table, now Landon's up top, Bill's down bottom. Oh, okay. I see
I'm
the
saying
actual,
I actually
actual
didn't
button.
An
Yeah.
actual. Oh, there it
There we
is.
go.
Okay.
There we
it
go.
is.
Justin Kelly got it back.
Like, I am blind in one eye, but I didn't know if it was just me or not.
And the 8 pairs the board. Backdoor diamonds come in. We see Bill Perkins, gas trader, come in with a pot-sized bet. And he's going to take it down. That's a great question. Faro asks, what is the longest session they've played so far? It's always about 2 hours?
No, the first session they played was 3 hours.
Okay.
So on that Jack, 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 you're going to see a complete range bet from Landon. Uh-oh.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
It's a good match today.
Yeah, it's been great.
Small bet from Landon. Here we come.
And as I was talking about with Drew earlier, right before you came on, like, or maybe you're on, but just talking about, for me personally, and thinking about when I used to play heads up, sit and goes, and multi-table, like, I felt like once I went above 2 tables at a time, my game, I wasn't playing my super A+ game. So,
Right.
you know, especially, you know, heads up so intense, especially this is a deep stacked heads up. So it's nice to see that these guys are not going above 2 tables to continue to see, you know, the higher quality of poker being played here.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring that up. So, like, there are two types of play with heads up. So, like, you can play 4 or 6 tables, but the only reason to do that is to test your level of stage 4 capabilities, right? And what I mean by that is humans learn in 4 stages of learning. So stage 4 is, you can compare that to driving a car. You can multitask, you can talk, you can drink coffee, you can, you know, whatever you want to do, right? So that's stage 4, unconscious competence. So we play 4 tables, 6 tables to test our unconscious competence, but we don't do that for any other reason. You want to keep it around 2 tables to like really execute your strategy with deep thought.
And I got to ask this question because I'm curious too. Hey, MJ, I saw your Twitter. You would not, and it says you would not play 5 specific opponents heads up. Could you give a little hint as to who they are?
Yeah, a couple of them are on my team in my camp.
Okay.
One person that I would absolutely play. I would drop everything that I'm doing, period, no matter what I was doing. I want to play Phil Ivey heads up. I want to play him as big as he possibly wants live for as long as he can stand. I will pitch a tent. I will not leave the table. Wow. That's something that I want to do.
Wow. Okay.
That's pretty cool.
And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I think he's sharp, but it's something that I want to do.
That's amazing. Hopefully that happens one day, man. That'd be amazing.
I think it's going to.
He actually mentioned in his interview with Joey the other day that he hasn't really dug into too much solver work in the past, but it's something he at some point is going to dig in. And he talked a little bit about how he didn't really, in his a bit more ego-filled days, he didn't really want to hear or talk poker with other people because he essentially, I think, didn't respect their opinions. And, you know,
it was above the rim.
Yeah. So I think that kind of makes sense that you would want to play him and assume, you know, that would be a good story there.
Yeah. He'll be getting to work.
I've seen a few people ask this in the chat. It says, what band was MJ in?
Some old dusty band. Who cares?
Chris Poker wants to know, why does Perkins play? He's like a billionaire, isn't he?
No, Perkins is not a billionaire.
He's not a billionaire.
No. So the reason why people think he's a billionaire is like, directly correlated with this book that he wrote, Die with Zero. Perkins spends like a billionaire. He's not an actual billionaire. He has a lot of money. Let's not get that twisted. But he is all about creating memory dividends, right? His currency is memories. He wants to do as much cool shit in the time that he has left, right? Because when he's on his deathbed, he can't do anything with his money, right? He can give it to his family and they, you know, whatever. But he's just going to have his memories. So that's exactly what he's focused on. And so he spends like a billionaire, but he's actually not. And he's in a fortunate position, you know, with his different companies and stuff where he generates a lot of income. But no, he's not a billionaire. He just spends like it.
That's awesome. Hopefully I can say that one day by myself.
Yeah, don't we all? You know, it sucks because like I hang out with Perkins all the time, right? So like, I don't mean this the way it's going to come off, but like he's such an influence sometimes where it's like, now I have my assistant, I have the chef, I have the housekeepers. And it's like, if I weren't with him all the time, I don't think I would have any of that shit. I'd just be like, who cares, man? Like, I'll throw in a Hot Pocket. I'm good. I promise. But like, he just rubs off on you like, dude, you're wasting so much time doing this or thinking about dinner here or like having to do a fucking chore every now and then. Like, why are you firing neurons at that? And I'm like, you know what? Fuck, he makes perfect fucking sense. All right, let's fire. I'm in. Let's go.
Time is money.
Yeah.
And so we had a 3-bet pot here on the right table. A bet on the flop from Landon, a call from Bill Perkins on the button. Turn goes check, check. Here we are now on the river. Interesting run out, backdoor diamonds, 4 cards straight. And we see Landon with about a, 67% pot?
Make the right choice, Perkins.
And two sizable pots here on both tables, which is what we want to see. And we have a call. Bill makes the call. Pocket sixes. Wow, ship it.
With the diamond in his hand.
Love it. And another ship over there on the left with the pocket aces. 2 little medium pots there going to Bill.
Perkins is funny, everyone that doesn't know. He wants to be in the streets so hard in the context of playing poker. He just wants to battle. We actually had to put a governor on him and limit his aggression. Because if it were up to him, any pair plus draw, any equity whatsoever, let's fucking get it in. And it's like, you can't do that, right? So yeah. We had to really put a saddle on him and tame him. Should see an overbet here. Actually, no, it went check, check. Never mind. Should see half pot. There we go for pot.
And there it is. There it is, guys. Bottom left, Bill Perkins now was down about $50,000 during this match just a little short time ago, and now he's plus 18K. Nice comeback.
I might just be like, quit, Perkins, just to fucking needle him. Yeah, because a lot of people don't know this, but there is significant side action of cross booking. And some are like multipliers of 5.
Can you explain cross booking for everybody in the chat and what that means in context of this huge heads up match we have?
Yeah, so like if I'm cross booking Bill on Bill's side, anything that Bill wins, my opponent pays me. Anything that Bill loses, I pay him. And if you have a multiplier, if they're playing, 100, 200, and I have a 10x multiplier, now I'm playing 1,000, 2,000, right? And so if he loses, a couple buy-ins, I now have to pay that based on the multiplier every session.
So yeah, you were right, Lankar. Bill has been as low as minus 60K on today's session, and now at his peak, plus 15K.
Yeah, he's been playing a great game today. He had the unfortunate start to the day with the queens versus tens, and started to dig a little deeper after that spot, but he's made a nice comeback.
Drew, let's test you right now. If Bill is to check raise right now, what size is he going to use?
50%.
Beautiful. Half pot, pair board. 2-bet pot.
Yeah, I got it right, chat. Let's go.
But like little things like that, when I like test you immediately, like it's so easy to remember a strategy that way, right? Like when you speak about it the way that we speak about it, it just sticks with you.
I like what I'm hearing from you too, as far as how it feels like a lot of spots are kind of compartmentalized. And of course, I feel like, especially for me, that makes it so much easier to learn and just group things into a space versus all the complex like lines, trees, all the things that you can get caught up with poker, trying to learn it. So yeah, that makes sense. And that's a good example. Like as soon as you said it, I was like, I know this, we just talked about it. It's in that bin,
Yeah, I mean, like it's so easy to get caught up in the noise when you're trying to learn something new. Right?
Oh wow, look at this. Check raise all in from Bill on the river there and takes it down.
Boy.
Massive check raise. Sick.
So what's on the docket for you, Lankar? Like what's going on over the next year? What are your plans?
Well, I'm pretty heavily invested in crypto, so I'm hoping that will change my life in the way I expect in the next year. And,
now that'll happen. That'll happen in 5 to 10 years. But yeah, it'll happen.
But I'm trading this cycle, so I'll be selling everything in the next year, and looking to buy back in when things are much lower. And I've literally been living and breathing crypto since about August. It's become a new passion of mine, and that's been a big thing for me. I've been on top of it, and now I'm so fully invested. I'm now, over the last couple months, transitioning all my energy back into poker where it needs to be, and that's been a big thing for me. And I actually, I would call myself one of the most like natural poker players. Like I've really never honestly worked on my game too much. I could count on my hands how many coaching sessions I've done with players that are better than me over the last few years, maybe my whole life even. And I actually just purchased Pio Solver in the last month, and I'm just the worst. Still haven't used it, but I'm just now talking about solvers and stuff, gonna start digging and really start to get to that next level, because I want to get to that elite level. I don't feel the need to necessarily prove that I'm the best in the world like I wanted to 10 years ago, but I do want to get to the point where I can play at a higher level than I'm at right now and just make more money.
All right, well, if you need some pointers, I'm happy to help you. If you want to text me, I got you.
I would love that. I appreciate that.
Just a heads up here, chat. It looks like we might be approaching the end of today's match. So in order to get some of our replays back up, we're going to hop offline here for just a minute, but we are going to come right back. We're going to look at some hands, and we're going to have Bill on for some post-game interviewing.
Nice.
So don't go anywhere.
Green light. Green light.
Stay tuned, guys. Stay tuned. Bill Perkins coming up, and he ended the session, looks like right
Green
at
light.
his absolute peak, plus 21K. Good for Bill.
No, that's okay. No. That just focus. You're just focus. Green light.
Okay.
You got it.
Okay.
All right.
So
All right. So they're going to
means we're
continue.
They're going to continue, guys. I was going to say, I don't want this to end. I wanted to keep going.
All right. So it does look. Yep. Okay.
Hold tight, guys. We'll get the table back up.
Alrighty.
All right, back at it. Love to see it.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Just had to take a quick break to reset there, and Bill got on the phone with MJ there just a minute ago, and MJ has green lighted the play for today. Bill's playing good. Coach says, get in there, keep swinging, and we're back at it.
At least want to win 2 buy-ins today.
And obviously,
yep.
I'll just say, obviously, if the momentum keeps going Bill's way, he's not too far off from that.
I was just going to say, as a coach here watching the match today, MJ, you feel pretty good about the green light, or what exactly? You just see good play from Bill, the momentum swinging. Is there anything specific?
Well, I don't want to get too much into specifics. I'm seeing some things that I wanted to see based on our prior work this morning and, over the last few days. I am seeing some mistakes, but it seemed that the mistakes that he made earlier in the session, he's no longer making in the later parts of the session. So, yeah, based on what we talked about and based on our game plan, absolutely, I would encourage him to continue to play. He's playing about as expected, right? He's making the appropriate amount of mistakes that we thought he was going to, and he's playing really well in spots that we thought he was going to, and he's also playing well in spots we were a little bit shaky on, right? So, every single day is reevaluate and tune up, right? So like we look at his game as armor, and we're just adjusting the metal to make sure that it is, it's protective.
And we saw that last hand there where Landon 3-bet pre-flop. Bill called on the button. King 3-5 rainbow. Landon fired 1/3 on the flop. Bill called 10 of diamonds on the turn, bringing in the backdoor flush draw. Landon fired about a 67% pot bet and took it down.
So easy check. Landon's going to have some 67s and some blocks on the 7-10-4 2 spades, and checks, of course. Bill's going to have some bets here at pot. It should be 110 and also block sizing. He elects to check. If Landon has a continuation bet or a delayed C bet here, it should be around half pot. He does go with a slightly bigger sizing. Half pot does perform slightly better, but not too much better than the sizing that Landon chose. It's just the subtle nuances, right, that make all the world of difference.
And here's a replay of this massive hand. This is by far the biggest hand of the session. For those of you just tuning in, if you missed this one. Replay here. Bill holding the pocket kings. Puts in the 3-bet. Puts a less than 1/3 bet on the flop. Ends up checking the turn here. And we saw a pretty big bet here. 9,000 into 13-5 by Landon. And a very crucial 10 on the river. Full house on the board. Bill checks. Landon chips. Bill in real-time snap calls. And we see both players had the better full house that was on. And that was by far the biggest hand we've seen today. 6-digit pot going to Bill Perkins.
GG Bill.
Another big pot on the right here, 30K in the middle.
30K in the middle. 4 cards straight on board. Diamond flush draw on the flop. Both
Please make
players
the
with
right
just
choice.
more than a 1-to-1 stack to pot ratio, and both players check. I feel like we're gonna see a big bet and a big hero call here.
Landon's good. Landon is good.
Come on, Bill. Make me a fortune teller, dang it.
So when's the next checkpoint, MJ? You gave Bill the green light after 2 hours to keep going.
30 minutes.
30 minutes?
So these monotone boards are fun, right? Typically, you're going to see a small bet by Landon. If Perkins calls and if the turn is a club, right? And we don't have to get too deep into it, but X of clubs. Landon actually has some overbets and checks. It's really, really sharp what the solver wants to do, and it's pretty cool.
Chat, go ahead and type 10s for pain in the chat. We are going to be giving away a $55 ticket coming up in just a minute. We'll get an exact for you there, Freitag, when the next drawing is. But if it's not in the next hour, we were doing it every hour. If they decide to take a break here in 30 minutes, we will end up doing it at the end of the stream. So stay tuned if you're hanging out in the chat. You can see the information in the bottom left. We are periodically updating it. Last we checked, Bill was up 10K, played 326 hands so far today.
Drew, what's going on you over the next year? What are your big plans, buddy?
You know, I haven't put too much thought or energy into it. I have been traveling a bit since I've come back into the States. The last year and a half I was in Canada. So don't even like have an apartment. I've just been moving from Airbnb to Airbnb. So I don't know. I really need to take some time and think about that a bit more. For me, just being a streamer, I'm kind of getting back into that rhythm and trying to keep that a priority. I'm starting to create some live poker vlogs on my YouTube channel, which I've been enjoying. Playing the most live poker I've ever played in my career has happened like this year. So I'm trying to figure out like where my passions are pushing me and resetting a little bit.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm excited for hybrid poker to come out at the end of the year, honestly. A lot of the stuff that you've been saying, I've really been connecting with. So, and I know I need to get better. A portion of my energy is for sure invested in becoming a better streamer, entertainer, content creator. And I think there's an evolution with that where becoming extremely good at poker starts to take the priority. And with the content creation, I've seen in a lot of streamers, that's kind of a natural progression. So I think I'm getting to that point, and I'm not sure exactly kind of what the frequency of things that I want to focus on yet, but I'm getting a good idea as the days progress here.
I'm proud of you, bro. From where you were 2 years ago when we spoke to where you are now, I fucking couldn't be more proud. And we have a raise here from Landon.
That means a lot though, MJ. That's cool to hear, because you've seen the progression pretty much, you know, from the Thirst Lounge in 2019 which was at the beginning of that project a lower point for me. And now we're here a couple years later, having this conversation, watching Bill. So that means a lot. That hits home for me.
Yeah, good. As well as it should. You deserve it.
So chat, looks like Landon is taking a little break here.
Yes. Rob J. Carr. I was gonna say this. Rob J. Carr asking in the chat. I think I'm about 3 or 4 weeks away from actually getting it lined up, making it a real thing. But I'm gonna have my first annual long car invitational in South Lake Tahoe. I'm thinking in September, and I'm gonna try and do it like a run it up Reno type of style with a couple of events, partying on the beach in the morning, cash games and shenanigans at night. A lot of people want to come out for that, so it's gonna be a really fun thing. So most likely September. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and obviously I'd love it if you guys want to come out. It's gonna be a good time. So I'll let you guys
I'll
know.
tell you
guys
what,
can
man.
Make it out.
If you cross book me on the events, I'll get me and the boys to come out, Perkins and all the big whales.
Oh my God, yes, that'd be amazing. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
I assume they're like lower buy-ins and more of a
Yeah.
good atmosphere, fun time.
Exactly. Yeah, it's gonna be everyone having a good time partying. South Lake Tahoe is amazing.
Yeah, I went to Run It Up Reno many years ago because with Jason, right?
Yeah.
And it was fun. I had a lot of fun.
So fun.
And and so I am all about these types of events. So with yours, yeah, if we can make it so that like on the side we're playing a little bigger, I'll bring the boys out. We'll have some fun.
Sounds good, man.
What's up, Guru? Good to see you, buddy. Out in the chat.
Hey, Robbie, what's up, man?
About to enter the heads up streets himself soon.
Yeah. That should
That's
be
gonna
exciting.
That's gonna be a fun one to track, man. Looking forward to that.
That should be fun.
Betting a call on the right. Landon takes a 10K pot there with the Trip Kings.
Landon, nice little run here over the last 10, 15 minutes or so.
All
Bill
right,
Perkins
see
caught his
another bet.
peak at about plus 20K, and now Landon, after that one, should be right around approaching plus 20K for the day now.
Now Perkins has 3 different sizings that he's going to use at certain frequencies. Okay, he decides the block. Landon has been raising these sizes and these lines here on this node, and we don't see it here, thankfully.
MJ, with the speaking of those smaller block sizings on the river there, are we, given the way that you're approaching and teaching poker, is there ever a thought there that we're betting to induce, or is it more just connected to, how you play that part of your range?
It's less exploitative and it is more supporting X, Y, and Z parts of your range that balance with each other, right?
You
It's
just
so
made me
easy.
think of that.
It's so easy to allow your brain to add in exploitative concepts, right? That typically aren't a thing in theory, right? So being able to compartmentalize them and when to apply them and when to not, and then even to when to recognize them, right? We're humans, so we strive for patterns, and solvers are, in theory, is a fairly new thing, right? 5 or 6 years. So it's still ingrained in our DNA to think exploitably.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you're seeing now more and more is that theory is playing a much bigger role in our strategy. And yes, there's still exploitative concepts that need to happen and should happen, but it's always important to start with the why. Why does the solver do X, Y, and Z? And understand theory first.
I dig it. very interesting with a lot of what I'm hearing MJ talk about and watching the match. As far as I'm seeing here, chat, we had Bill up, and then we did a little break to decide whether we should continue to push forward. Are we playing well? And then now to see in the about 20 minutes since they decided to continue, it feels like the momentum has shifted a little bit. But the thing that's important, MJ, right, is that Bill is still feeling confident about his play. Mm-hmm. And that's the deciding point to continue to move forward, right?
Yeah, we don't give a shit about immediate results. Being results oriented is toxic across the board. We avoid that like the plague. And it's all about, are you executing your strategy? And if you are, variance is going to happen regardless. So don't think about that. I am not going to even comment with Bill on, well, if you fucking quit, you would have been up 17K and now you're down 17K right now. Like that conversation won't be had from either one of us.
It's a tough thing, though, I feel like, for non-elite players to move past that thought. It's easy to get caught up in things like that, I think, right?
Well, yeah, we're human, right? Like, we need to justify outcomes unnecessarily, in my opinion. And again, you're just finding patterns, right? It all goes back to the same thing, right? Humans are going to do human things. And psychologically, this is how we cope, right? But it's so important to recognize it, compartmentalize it, throw that shit away, and just execute on theory and logic.
On the left table here, we had a min bet on the turn. Bill called in position. The board double pairs. Landon checks.
And on that note of, oh man, if I should have quit 30 minutes ago and I was plus whatever and now I'm negative whatever, especially cash games. Cash games are just one continuous lifelong session. And obviously, you know, like MJ just said, if you're playing great, you're playing good, you're making good decisions, then it doesn't matter if you ended up plus or minus for the day or when you quit. It's just one continuous session. If you can tell yourself, especially looking back, like, okay, well, from the point that I was positive, the point I was negative, I played great, then on to the next.
You know, look, I got to be honest though, right? Like there is a little bit of, I believe it's survivorship bias. Like when you're playing at high levels, you don't have bankroll implications, right? Like you're not worried about a buy-in or two, right? But like when you're playing low stakes, 1-3, 1-2, 2-5, like the average player, I believe, has like 10K that's playing 2-5. Yeah. Right. And that's significant. One buy-in is significant with that bankroll. So it's so much easier for me to sit here and fucking say when I'm playing nosebleeds and I don't have, you know, buy-in issues, or, you know, you're fucking 40 tabling sit and goes, you don't have buy-in issues. Right. But like when you're playing 2-5 with $10,000, right?
Very important to lock up wins in that case. Yes. Yeah. If you don't have, yeah, exactly. What you're saying is right on. Exactly.
Like it's so much harder for your brain to justify, right? Like, and so like, I don't really want to push it too hard with like the lower stakes because it is harder, right? It is a bigger mental task for them than it is for someone like us. So like, I am cognizant of that and I am empathetic of that because I was there too.
And I was going to say, what you're saying now is making me, I wouldn't say retract what I just said, but like what I said was pertaining if you have no bankroll issues and if you're just very comfortable with the level you're playing and how much money you have behind you, because I have gone through periods in my life where bankroll was shorter and I actually quit a good game because I was up a good amount, which was crucial to my bankroll, and I was playing in a game every day, and momentum is a real thing. And there's times where I'd actually leave a pretty positive EV game because, you know, I'm up a good chunk. Like I said, this is a crucial pop-up to my bankroll, and I'm gonna come back tomorrow with that positive momentum, feeling good, and continue on. So it definitely is a thing, especially if you are not, you know, unlimited or close to unlimited bankroll. You know.
Yeah, being able to assess risk and being unbiased and having a logical framework of thought, like that's gonna help you a ton. Like, but let's not get it twisted. I'll be super real with you guys. 6 years ago, I was playing 2-5 and 5-10, and I had 10K, 12K to my name. And I lived an hour away from the bicycle casino, and I would drive an hour in traffic, and I would allow myself a stop loss of 2 buy-ins. And sometimes I'd lose that in one orbit, and then I'd drive home. And there'd be sometimes I'd be so frustrated and like, I know I'm so much better than where I'm at right now. Why do I have to go through this? And like almost in tears driving home, right? Like I can empathize. I've been there. Not too long ago, I was grinding small stakes, right? So like, I understand. I truly do.
That makes me happy to hear a little bit, to be completely honest, you know?
I'm glad my pain makes you feel good.
Yeah, like hearing that part of the story for sure, you know, because I can connect with that. You know, I definitely have nowhere near an infinite bankroll, and I'm for sure one of those players who's, you know, playing it close, booking wins is, you know, important. I'm thinking of live poker right now. You mentioned the 2-5 and stuff. Like when I go play cash games and whatnot, like I definitely feel like I can beat 2-5, even 5-10. But when I'm going and playing with the money I've set aside for my live poker roll, you know, booking a win is significant. And I connected with what Lankar said as well. You know, the confidence you carry from booking a win into the next session feels impactful. Yes. to me, you know?
Yeah, I mean, in the goal, long run, is to not be impacted regardless of a win or a loss. You know, but I can empathize with what Michael was saying. It's just so on the nose. It's so perfectly well said. Mm-hmm. You know, like it does mean a lot for your psyche if you're not at a level in which you can compartmentalize and be emotionally detached. If you cannot do that, and by the way, I don't expect anybody at that level to be able to execute that to perfection, right? Like we want progression, not perfection. So I don't expect any 2-5 grinders to have that mentality yet. But when you're later on down the road and you've become successful in what you wanted to execute on, like the goal is to just not give a shit, be completely indifferent.
Makes sense. We got a nice pot developing on the right here. 10K in the middle. Bill calls.
That's what we want to see.
Do we really want to see this? We want to see that. That's what we want to see.
So this looks like a 40?
Yeah, so I was just going to ask you, the 3-bet pot, when you take initiative, what's your sizing that you're going to use predominantly? 40. Right. So when you frame it like that, it's very hard to forget, right? And very easy to execute.
Yeah, that's what I was processing. I was looking at the sizing, you know, the flop checked. It was a paired board that didn't see the check raise. And then, yeah, Bill had the initiative there and I had the sideways had it. I was like, 40.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing it happen.
So like Lankar, you said you're getting into a bunch of the solver work with PO. Like there are millions of patterns, right? And so like having strong pattern recognition is very important. And I would just encourage you to like look at the patterns, look at the heuristics and the rules of what PO allows and doesn't allow and why, right? Like that's gonna fast track you 2x.
That's something I thought was interesting, and I've enjoyed it since I've started to dig into Pi a little bit. It's kind of how you have to figure out why the output is doing what it is and kind of reverse engineering. I think that's kind of been like a fun game to me to figure that out.
Yeah, I mean, look, Lankar's got it all. He's got a beautiful wife. He's got beautiful kids. He fucking 40 tables, heads up, sit and goes. He's got all the crypto in the world. Like, I'm fucking envious, Lankar. What's going on, buddy?
Life is good, man.
Life is good.
I'm a lucky guy. Cheers, man.
Yeah, you got Drew with the fucking purple hair. He's got a big platform for his streaming. Like, you guys have fucking got it going on, man.
Cheers, man.
Very lucky guys, I would say, for sure.
Hey, your wife is a nurse, Michael?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
She's an MA. Yep.
Yeah, I can only like glean from what I see on like your Instagram posts sporadically. Yeah. But man, it seems like you fucking have it all. You are rich.
Thanks, man.
And I'm rich in life. I'm not being sarcastic or at all. Like I'm like quite literally, you are fucking stinking rich.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's Something I've been thinking about a lot lately. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life, which is a great thing to say. So
Good for you.
It's good. Thanks, man.
How's Folsom right now? Super hot?
Oh my goodness, 108 the last 2 days, which a little humid here. So it's 108 here is probably like 122 in Vegas. So
it's 118 here.
Oh my goodness, yeah, it's about the same.
So I have you guys heard of the Whoop?
No, what's that?
No.
It's like manages your sleep and health and heart rate and all this stuff, right? So I'm on the golf course 2 days ago. It's 118 on the golf course. My heart rate spiked up to like 174 for like an hour and a half. And I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm dying on the golf course. Like, make sure that my fucking daughter, goes to fucking private school. My dog gets fed. That's it for me, boys. I'm out. And it's amazing how hot it can get out on the golf course.
Sick.
Unreal.
That's intense. 170 though.
Gripsed, rating with the party of 97. One of my favorite streamers. Talk about positivity and awesomeness. Mr. Gripsed, one of the OG YouTube vloggers. Thanks for being here, my man.
Welcome everybody coming over from Grip Stream to get you updated. We are about 2.5 hours into today's session. We've played 383 hands so far. Bill is down 9K. It's been back and forth over the break-even line. Bill being up, Landon being up. And total for this heads up match, Perkins is down 107K through 3,100 hands.
So speaking of Grips, we actually had a meeting last night and he came up in our meeting. I don't know him at all. I've never spoken to him, but he definitely came up. I would like to speak to him if he's available. If he can.
There you go, Gripsed.
I think Grips is going to be able to find some time for sure to chat with MJ. I bet money on that one.
I call. And looks like we're still Landon still with a slight lead right now on today's match.
Fucking bury the kid, long car. Bury the kid.
What's that?
Bury this fucking kid, long car. God damn it.
Oh, we got there's a command in the chat for that. That's funny. Bury the kid. 55 ticket is going out here in less than about 30 minutes, chat. Every hour we've been doing this, or when the stream ends, if there's one active, we'll pull the $55 ticket winner then. Type 10s for paying in the chat.
Yeah, Grips, if you can hear me, buddy, if you can get my phone number and reach out to me, that'd be great.
I feel like an absolute idiot, but it's just killing me. What do you mean, bury the kid? I don't know what you mean.
Oh, I want him to fucking lose horribly.
Not
because I dislike him. I like everyone on their team. I just want his backers to feel the pain.
Gotcha. And again, thanks to all of you for tuning in. It's been a fun stream. 300 plus of you still here with us. We appreciate you guys. Wouldn't be a stream without you guys watching and giving us the goods in the chat. Thanks for being here. We got MJ Gonzalez, Bet on Drew in the hizzy, enjoying this super high stakes match that I know all of us wish that we can one day have the pleasure of saying, I got a heads up match with Bill Perkins playing with hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's fun to watch.
There's the donk. One big blind.
And that big overbet there. Landon betting over 10,000 into about $6,000 or $7,000 on the turn, taking it down.
1.5.
MJ, do you think there is a strategic difference in Bill opening to 2.4 versus Landon opening to 2.5? I'm seeing a question in the chat here.
Very minimal, but yes, but incredibly minimal. And so you're going to start to notice it where it actually starts to matter a bit more in their 3-bet sizing. So for example, with 100 BBs to 155 BBs, Bill's going to be opening to 11x. He's going to be 3-betting to 11x. And I mean 11x the big blind, by the way. We always speak in big blinds. And when Bill gets to 170 plus, right? Like he's going to be 3-betting to 9.5x. And Landon has chosen a few different sizes for his 3-bet size. And that's all just about the solves that they're running versus the solves that we're running. And we also have the structures for their sizing. And what we've come to the realization is that the sizings that Bill's using performs slightly better. Not by a huge margin, but it just performs a little better.
So Pappy, yes, for those of you who do not know in the chat, MJ is part of Bill's coaching team.
Is MJ financially invested in side bets, or is he just coaching Bill? I think I know the answer to that, but
I don't talk about my private stuff.
there we go.
Looks like we're gonna have a little bit of a break here from Landon.
397 hands played today. Love to see it.
Yep.
Yeah. The goal was to try to get to 5K hands this month.
Definitely going to get there.
Yeah. I'm kind of interested in this Poker Guru versus Matt Berkey.
I'm very interested in this. And I actually, I'm sure you saw Bill Perkins'
Mhm,
sponsorship offer for the boxing match. I want to see that happen too. I want to see that happen more than the poker.
I mean,
Said
like,
if both people can get under 210, he will sponsor 50K. And then, of course, Guru said, I want you to 4X it to 200K. And Bill replied and said, okay, well, if I beat Landon Tice, then I will sponsor for 200K. So I pray that happens.
yeah, I mean, like, do I necessarily agree with the approach taken? Probably not, but it's entertaining. And but I am looking forward to the heads up match. Like, that should be cool. Berkey does have some piece of Landon, right? And is a part of the team. So I know that Berkey is privy to some quite sharp information for heads up, right? Like Landon's team, I know who Landon's team is. And no, I won't say, but he has some incredibly sharp motherfuckers on his team. Absolutely. So I assume, and I'm not sure if this is true, but I assume that Matt will also be privy to their information as well. And we'll see. Rob's going to have to fucking bring it.
I'm jazzed up about it too. Yeah, big time.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great one.
It'll be fun.
And we see Bill Perkins take down a little pot there with the Queen 9. And talking about what you're talking right now, it's another layer that a lot of people probably don't think about is two good poker players going at it, but then they both have, as you talk about, their teams and coaches. And
you bring up such a good point. And like, for all that doesn't know this, right, or isn't in the high stakes poker world, yes, Landon and Bill are the ones playing, but this isn't just Landon and Bill. This is Bill's team versus Landon's team. Landon would be 25% as good without his team, and Bill would be 5% as good without his team. Both of them need their teams. Phil Galfond had his shit. All the Vinaviti had his people. Doug Polk had his people. Danny Negreanu, etc. This is team versus team, quite literally. Right.
Layers,
and like,
layers.
when I'm playing Dan Smith right now, 501,000 live. It is my team versus Dan and Ike Haxton and his team, right? Like that's the way it is. And with me and like, I'm playing Limitless on Poker Go, 1,000, 2,000, and we're playing for like 6 million total, right? So it's going to be my team versus Limitless and his fucking Russian wrestling bears team, right? Like that's what's going to happen. And that's primarily what you see at the highest stakes.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's stuff most people don't think about. It's really cool. And we saw that. Did you catch it last hand, Drew? Did you see that? Really interesting.
Yeah, I saw
hand.
that. There was maybe 6K in the middle, and then we had a 10K over bet and a jam, right?
Landon 3-bet from the big blind, and we saw a big bet on a 7-deuce-5 rainbow flop from Landon. And was it a shove by Bill? Bill shoved?
Yeah. And then Landon snap folded too, which
what was the size that Landon used on that texture?
I think it was
10 and 6, roughly, if I saw it correctly.
He overbet flop?
No, I didn't think it was an overbet, was it?
I thought it was. We're gonna miss it. We'll have to see if we can get that in the replays.
Yeah, let's get that
later.
I thought it was 5,500. Maybe I'm wrong.
You could be right for sure.
5,500 into what?
think it was like 55 into 8.
Oh, into 3 bet pot. Yeah. Fuck.
And then a big shove by Bill, which is obviously not what I was expecting right there. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe it was an overbet.
It's you weren't expecting it because no one would be expecting it. if that is what happened.
Glad you're enjoying the stream. Omax says this is always a great stream. Thanks to the guys. We appreciate you hanging out with us today for this big heads up match.
Where do I see this? Where do I see the chat at? I can't even interact with them. I want to see all the people talking shit to me.
So you need to go to twitch.tv/America's Card Room on your browser. You can see the chat.
Okay. I want to see. I enjoy the trolls. I think they're fucking hilarious.
Everyone keeps asking if you're gonna play a button clicker. That's like a common question everyone keeps asking.
Who?
Button clicker or a clicker? Some guy on Twitter.
Look, I will absolutely play anybody. But my fucking is super full right now. I have Dan Smith, and then I have fucking Limitless, which is supposed to be fucking top 5 in the world, and then I have Ike Haxton. After all that's said and done, I'm sure I'll play. I don't care. Oh, and I have Timofey, True Teller. So like after those guys, like, sure, why not? Like, fuck it, I'll battle. Like, am I seeking fucking clicker or Polk or anybody? No, I'm not seeking anybody. Like, I set these matches up and I'm gonna execute on these matches. What happens after? Who knows? But clicker is, in my personal opinion, one of the best.
Poker Guru, Robbie boy, still hanging in the chat, man. Looking forward to this heads up duel, brother. Looking forward to it, man. I'm glad this got going.
Bill's actually up 4K now at this point. We just got a update here recently. 409 hands into today's session.
400 hand mark, hell yeah. Bill Perkins with a slight lead on today after being down about $60,000 a little bit earlier at one point, and has now climbed back, and both players playing at a very high level today. I knew you were gonna say something like that.
Michael, you're incredibly fucking nice, man. I'd like to hang out with you outside of poker. My wife and me take you and your wife out for dinner. I love that.
Hell yeah. Cheers.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just too fucking real. I don't know. I've seen some shit.
Got a small bet on the left here from Bill.
There it is.
And again, we see the big river raise from Landon, which has been a big theme today. We've seen a lot of these blocker quarter pot river bets from Bill with big pot size raises on the river. And I don't think Landon has been called yet in this exact scenario.
I have a feeling Landon is going over some exploitative stuff. I could be wrong. It could just be what he's rolling, and he could be just playing theory. But there seems to be a pattern here, and we have certain information on what Bill's doing and what Landon's doing, and I think Landon has some information as well. So there could be some interplay going on outside of theory that you guys are witnessing right now, and it's those subtle nuances that really make the match what it is.
Poker Guru says, in the works with Poker Go, and we'll stream our match online with camera, etc. Hell yeah, dude. And I got to ask this question. Obviously, I don't have to say, MJ, you don't have to answer this if you don't want to. Someone in the chat just asked, who do you think has the edge? Poker Guru or Berkey?
So I've played with Berkey a fair amount. I just played with him the 200, 400, 400, 800 no limit on Poker Go. I've played with him in some private games. I've never seen Rob play. I don't know his game. From my understanding, he's primarily a tournament player, but I'm unsure.
No, yeah, he plays quite a bit of cash too.
Oh, okay. I don't know, right? Because I don't know anything about Rob's game yet. I'd have to kind of like see some hands that he's played, or see how he, most importantly, forgetting the hands how he played, like how he talks about poker and how he speaks about it. But I don't know.
Fair enough.
I do know that Berkey is he's going to have access to really good heads up information. So Rob, if you didn't know that, you should know that.
Big pot on right here, 12.6K. Paired board, backdoor flush came in. Landon with the decision.
There it is. See about a 67% pot bet from Landon here on the river.
Bill in the grinder once again.
I freaking love you, Rob. Rob says, I pray to God I open up as a dog so I can shove my life roll on this heads-up match. Love it. I love it, Rob.
I feel your pain, bro. I wanted, so they were texting Mike McDonald about me and Limitless. And Mike was like, I think MJ's a small favorite. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What world are we in? Like, I want to be like a fucking 5-1 dog so I can just bet my life on it. Like, I just want to bet the farm. I don't care if I win or lose. I just want that sweat. So I feel you, Rob. 100%.
And I was going to say, it's going to be interesting. It's like the same board on both tables here. Unfortunately, pots are not that large.
So as expected, we're going to see a small bet from Landon. And Bill can do some funky things. He decides not to. He doesn't have a good enough board interconnectivity or high enough in his range to call.
Poker Guru says, the best thing is Timex isn't going to know much about me, so really good for me overall. Talking about teams.
I thought the same fucking thing, dude. Like, I thought the same thing.
Ooh, and here we refresh, guys. We're back. We're back.
Drew accidentally hit a button, everybody, so blame him.
I dig it. I'll take this one for the team. Chad, it was me. Look.
Misclick.
Yep, we had the replay. I wanted to start talking about it. Loncar started talking first. I was like, nope, bang. Here we are. No, but it does look like maybe we missed. If chat is not trolling, there was a couple of big hands from Bill here. I could be getting trolled out. It says Perkins just shoved both hands on both tables.
No, that's a troll. That's a
No,
troll.
Yeah, it's got to be a troll, right?
The exercise doesn't make sense. The fuck was that? All right, 3-bet from Perkins. So primarily, you're going to see, you should be seeing smaller sizes here. These 4-3 deuce allows bigger sizes, but the fact that it's suited, you want to lean slightly towards smaller sizing. Bill says, fuck it, let's get it.
I love saying that.
Don't we all?
Thanks to all of you for chilling with us, especially those who have been here the entire stream. Obviously expecting this heads up match to conclude relatively soon. Hopefully we see some more blood, some more big pots go down before the stream is done.
Is that plus 4K accurate?
Yes.
I didn't catch the last time it was updated, but that is definitely our most recent update. We can double check.
Justin Kelly says 5 minutes ago accurate, so we will have the updated really, really soon.
3-bet pot, monotone board. This is fucking horrendous for Landon. He should be checking the majority of the time. When you're the 3-better and you're presented with a monotone flop, obviously low as well, you're going to be checking a metric shit ton. Perky decides to check back. And Landon has a few different options for sizing now for his delayed C-bet. Goes for the check again. Not in love with the speed of which Bill checked back turn.
An overbet on the left here from Landon on the river ace, paired board. And a call, big pot.
Big pot alert, overbet.
Yeah, that hand is not folding.
Oh, and a call. $27,000 pot. A6 going to Gas Trader.
Yeah, that hand's not going to be folding. It's one of your best aces.
And I just got to say this because there's multiple people. There's multiple guys out there in the chat saying they want to bet on Berkey. And Poker Guru said it loud and clear yesterday on the other day on Twitter. They'll be taking all action, I believe, if you want to bet against them. So hit them up. If you're really serious, you want to put your money where your mouth is, you have the opportunity to do that.
How fucking rich is fucking Poker Guru? He's going to take on all fucking action? Jesus fucking Christ.
All right, stats just got updated. So 436 hands in. Bill is down 4K. We are 3,580 hands in total for the challenge. Actually, now it just got updated. 440 hands, and Perky is up 13K today.
Yeah, as you guys know who have been here for a minute, we saw Bill Perkins dug himself into a hole earlier today in today's match, was around minus 60K at the bottom, climbed back up to about plus 20K at the peak, and that's where we've been fluctuating for about the last 45 minutes or so, between plus 20K for both players.
Imagine losing all in pre 10s v queens, and one of the commentators says, "You dug yourself into a hole." I'd want to rip my fucking hair out.
Profit wise.
That's fucking funny, man. That's great.
Profit wise, results wise.
What a beautiful needle. I love it. I'm going to steal that from you.
And for those of you wondering what MJ's talking about, Bill Perkins got it in with queens versus Landon's 10s, all in pre-flop for 85K pot. Winner is going to be up around $40,000 to start the match, 10 on the flop. And that was how Bill Perkins,
dug
quote
himself
unquote, dug himself in a hole by losing that one.
I didn't think I was going to like commentating. You know what? I actually enjoy it. I used to commentate on Live at the Bike a lot. But I didn't know if I was going to like this. I personally hate the sound of my voice, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm having a good time. I've been on the stream 3 times now, and I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's been great, man. For real. It's been awesome for me. You know, I've commentated a bunch of different shows and streams and this and that. It's always different. It's always different dynamic as to who's in the booth with you more than what the game is. And this has been really great today.
Like, I forgot all the social protocols of like when to speak, when not to speak, like don't talk over somebody, like allow them to do intros and bring backs, etc. Like I forgot all that shit. It's all out the window. So I'm just fucking freeballing it. So apologies if I've stepped on your toes.
Let it flow. Definitely the way to go.
It's been nice though, for sure, to have you on, MJ, because not a lot of us who've been on are, you know, near as advanced at heads up play as you are. And, you know, to watch the elite level that we're seeing here, it's good to have that insight and bring it in. So you kind of get a little bit of like, you know, a little more down here where we're at, and then you get the up here. So it's been nice. I've been seeing a lot of people in chat go like, this is amazing, these nuggets that like MJ's just dropping in here, and that we're just, you know, getting for free, just hanging out, watching this high stakes heads up match and getting a little bit better at poker, which is what you talked about is the biggest thing, just some progression.
Well, I'm happy to help. You know, I do have to walk a fine line, right? Because if anyone from Landon's team is listening or doing anything, I don't want to give anything away, right? So like, I'm happy to give like some nuggets here and there, but I don't want to give away too much, right? Like we just gave Perkins some new toys to play with, right? So like if you're going to see me not talk about certain things that you may or may not see, because like, I just don't want to give them any advantage at all. But I do enjoy dropping these nuggets on you guys for sure, because at the end of the day, it's going to help your poker game. And it's not going to help your poker game with heads up. It's going to help it with other aspects and other variants as well. So Perkins should have a pot size bet here on ace 8-9 rainbow. He does not. Okay. He also has checks here. So.
So high frequency pot size bet on this texture then, right?
Not high frequency, lower frequency bet, but bigger size when used.
Gotcha.
So you are going to see some more checks than you are bets, but you're not. You shouldn't be seeing many block sizes.
And we see now Bill come out with a half pot bet with the ace coming on the turn. Landon with the call.
That
About
is
4K in the
that
middle.
is a heuristic. So when in your delayed C bet, primarily you're going to have half pot.
And
he
the
gets
6
lucky.
on the river. Gives Bill a little pot right there, continuing to climb. I believe right above 20K, which is right about the peak for the day for him profit-wise.
So it was a good idea that he stayed. I am seeing so many block sizings used from Perkins in this node.
Are you happy about that or not happy about that?
So this is a Jack 8-10 turn Jack texture. Let's see what sizing Landon decides to use. Uh-oh. Are we frozen?
There we go. So Landon goes with the over bet.
Yeah. He has advantage.
And what happened on the river? I didn't see that.
I think we are just kind of having some technical issues here. We're refreshing. I think we all missed that one.
Yes, N2 Deep LA. As you see in the bottom left corner, there's been 452 hands played today with Bill Perkins up about 19K at this point, which is totaled in to the total amount of hands played for this challenge, which has been going on for a couple of weeks now. 3,596 hands total, and they will play this match out until there are 20,000 hands played. Okay, Poker Guru says he thinks Bill called there on the river the overbet. With the stack sizes as they are now.
So whenever Ryan in the chat here wondering if MJ is going to be on all heads up coverage of this match, says hopefully whenever MJ is around and available to pop on, I think that we will be seeing him.
I don't plan on being on every time, but I'll hop on, you know, if I have time. For sure, I enjoy it.
$14K in the middle on the left table here. Bill checks to Landon.
Another big bet here from Landon. 7 deuce 8 jack rainbow. Another sizable pot going down. That's what we want to see as viewers here. And Landon takes it down.
Quick reminder, chat, type 10s for pain in the chat. We got a $55 ticket on ACR that we are about to announce the winner. So make sure you're near your computer. Once we pick your name, we are going to need you to tag ACR with your username so that you can claim your ticket. So go ahead and type that in the chat right quick.
Polish Prince says, MJ, who do you consider the best heads-up player in the world right now?
Oh, God, I don't know. I have no idea. There's a lot of really good heads up.
A lot of guys that are
players.
right there.
Yeah, like Linus is great, and Barry Sweets is good, and Limitless is good, and like there's a lot of them.
See a small bet on the flop here from Landon. Queen 3-8-5 rainbow. Excuse me. Backdoor spades coming in here on the turn. And on the table on the right here, we have a pot-sized bet from Bill Perkins. And he has been called. And wow, the bottom pair hero call from Landon is good. Takes another nice little hand down.
So congrats to E Godzi in the chat. E Godzi, if you were out there, buddy, you won the $55 ticket. Make sure you tag America's Card Room with your username to claim. Congratulations.
Nice. E Godzi. What's up, man? Congrats.
There he is. He's in the chat too. So depending on how much longer we end up playing today, everybody, we will every hour be doing a $55 ticket giveaway. We just hit 3 hours of play today, which matches the longest that we've seen up to this point. MJ, what's the longest you've gone in a heads-up match versus somebody? Amount of time.
Maybe 15 hours.
Wow. That seems like a mental grind.
Is it longest heads up match?
Yep.
Yeah, for me personally, 15 hours. Yeah,
that's actually just about mine. That's like just about mine. My limit is 15 live at a casino.
Yeah, it's mentally draining.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
You know, like it was brutal.
It's so funny that's brought up because I was just replaying this the other day. I was playing heads up against a guy at a casino, and like it got really heated between me and him, like trash talking, and like it got just heated. Like we just hated each other. Like we just hate each other so much.
Okay. All right.
And it got to the point where like we were at an open table in a casino, and like people would try to sit down at the table, and obviously I am a very, very nice guy, but like in this moment, it was like, you know, get off the table. You're not allowed to sit down. And people are like, screw you, I'm sitting down. Like, okay. And because I had to talk with this guy, and I had to jive him up, and I was like, you better tell this guy to sit out, and we're not playing him. You know, it was a lot of trash talking. Like, it got to the point where just people would like sit down, and I'd kind of go off a little bit. Obviously, me and this guy were drinking all night, and it was like 6 a.m. at this point. But it's, you know, heads up can get so intense, especially when, you know, talking about being human, you know, when you don't like someone and there's other stuff going on, man, it can get really intense. It can get really intense.
Yeah. I try not to, you know, cross a line, but I have a temper, right, from my childhood. Like I still have like once I cross that line, I turn into like a fuck it, I don't care, let's get it,
Yeah.
right? And like I try so hard not to cross that line. And I'm human, you know, I'm going to make mistakes. I'm flawed. It's going to happen. But yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah. Handsome 1000, thank you for that comment. Thanks for being here today.
Is that a thing? I actually was not aware of that. Somebody in the chat, Benjamin here says, Sam Geisel punched out Phil Hellmuth. Is that a thing?
I have no idea. There's the overbet I was talking about and on this kind of a texture.
P-Man Praise, who's winning today. Currently, after 476 hands, Bill was down 9K. And down total 107K on the challenge.
Oh, Sam Grizzle punched off Hellmuth.
That seems to make more sense. Than some
I
guys
can see the Grizz doing that.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you guys are wondering the stats of the session, total challenge and today's session only are in the bottom left corner of your screen. We see Landon sitting out at the other table. Hopefully this doesn't mean the day is done just yet. Nope, we back.
There has been a lot of sit-outs this session.
Mm-hmm. Noticeable for sure.
A lot of poo-poo breaks.
These are some quick poops from what I've seen.
And we got another 3-bet here from Bill in the big blind. And in fact, both tables here, we see Bill 3-betting from the big blind, taking it down the right, and we see the super wet Jack 6-7 all club flop.
Yeah,
Just about 9,000 in the middle.
Not great for us. We should be seeing checks, and now Landon has a couple options.
Puts about a 1/3 3K into 9K bet. And he takes it down. Easy game.
Welcome to all the new followers today. Thanks for hanging out with us. Appreciate the company watching this match. Just been back and forth, back and forth. We have had a couple of big all-in situations, but we're hovering right around break even with Bill just being down 12K. Glad you're enjoying Dunner. Appreciate you, buddy. And good luck anybody out there on the poker grind currently. Well, I've seen a few people in the chat drop their tournament updates. We appreciate you chilling with us.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Thanks for being here. Hey, RD Quicksilver, long car. I'm in Canada. I play on PokerStars and GG, but I enjoy your stream, so I just set up on ACR so I can take a run at your home game, man. Hell yeah. I've been saying it for a long time. It's my favorite stream of the week. As much as I love the Sunday grind and big money opportunities, my favorite stream for a long time has been my Friday night home game. Lots of shots of whiskey, and it's just, I love the no delay. I love talking to you guys. It's a ton of fun, man. So I'll see you Friday night.
We got a pot developing on the right here. 18.3K in the middle.
18K in the middle. 18K in the middle. And we see, what is that, about a 60% pot bet and a call. Wow, 41,000 in the middle. Bill Perkins with only a half pot bet left on the river. And the board double pairs, 7-5, 7-6-5. There will be blood. And Landon shoves. Bill with a decision now for all of his chips.
Landon's been putting the pressure on in these spots we've seen today. Putting Bill to a decision.
And he's going into the time bank. This is obviously going to be a big swing in the session. Big game changer with whatever decision Bill makes here. He lays it down. Landon takes down a big one. Almost getting back up to that 3x starting stack point yet again here. 108,000 now. If and when either player hits $120,000 on either table, which is a 3x starting stack, they will reset to a new table and buy back into for 40K each. Landon not too far off from doing that here yet again.
I saw a question earlier in the chat. I was curious as well, but somebody asked MJ, what are the 3 events at the WSOP you're looking forward to the most this year? Or any year, I would imagine.
I want to play the Heads Up event, obviously, and I personally enjoy the 25K or bigger PLO events, and the 50K or bigger no limit hold'em events. Personally,
Nice.
I really enjoy them, and then I also like the Players Championship event, the 50K, the mixed game. I love playing that event, and I like the stud events too. I'm excited for the whole fucking series. How about that? I can't wait.
I think if I remember correctly, in 2019, we actually got to talk for a little bit, but you had just finished, I think, when we were chatting, some PLO event. You cashed for like $1 million or something. Did you get like third or second?
No, I got third in the 25K PLO for I think 700,000 or something.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And a funny thing about that event, I was sitting on 5 to 7 big blinds for the last 2 days of that event.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I came to the final table with 3 big blinds,
Oh wow, that's amazing.
and I ended up finishing in third. It's
Nice.
crazy.
Short stack ninja.
Lowgrass, I did not watch. I saw you mentioned the Nosebleeds documentary. I have not seen that yet. I actually didn't even hear about it until you brought that up the other day. But not yet, buddy. It's good to see you out there. Appreciate you chilling. Mike in the chat seems quite passionate about this question. I think I might have seen it before, but wants to know, MJ, will a human ever be able to beat a computer program like Pluribus Libratis over the course of a challenge like they were able to do in 2015? Or are those days long gone?
The days will be long gone soon.
Coach Prince, I believe the answer to that question is yes, but we'll verify with MJ. As far as MJ, is your team making adjustments to Bill's game based on the way Landon is approaching things?
Yeah, we're making adjustments to Bill's game after every single session and adding in new things and making adjustments to poorly performed things. And Bill is doing quite well.
We got a 20K pot here on the left side. Action is on Bill on the button. Another paired board. Bill decides to check. So he gives up the initiative. Let's see if Landon does decide to take it. So I think the delayed c-bet, if Bill decides to go with it, about half pot, MJ? Nope.
4-bet pots work a little differently.
Okay.
Man, wow, 32,000 in the middle now.
Clubs miss. Nothing really changes here, I don't think.
I was gonna say relative blank on the river. And wow, there it is. We see Bill bet the pot, 32 into 32. Landon going into the time bank.
Oh, two big hands.
Oh yeah, big hand over there. $30,000 pot on the other table chopped up. Both players hit the trips on the river, and Bill taking down that pot size bet. $32,000 hand on the table on the left. Cutting into that lead.
Just past the 500 hand mark for today. Bill is down 31K on today's match, and total for the challenge, it is minus 128K. Sounds big, but it's not really. Not really, less than one buy-in today. We have our longest session yet. One of their early matches, Bill and Landon ended up playing for 3 hours. We're at about 3 hours and 15 minutes today. So both players must be feeling good, feel like they're playing well. Variance is doing its thing, and here we are.
I'm guessing, Justin Kelly, by putting that in the chat, you're saying Bill has won 251 hands today and Landon has won 258? That's interesting. Very close. Basically even. Ooh, I'm a basketball junkie, man. I'm excited for this Game 7. Nets and Bucks coming up in a little bit. I don't think I missed a playoff game yet this year. Or most. I've only missed a couple.
Who's your team, buddy?
It's a great question. I don't even know the answer to that anymore. I was born and raised in Seattle, so like Sonics for life, but like hoping that day comes back again one day. I've always hated the Lakers with a passion. And then I've always just been the biggest LeBron fan ever, so I kind of shifted over to the Lakers when he went there. So I don't really know. I don't even know who my team is anymore. Big Steph Curry fan. I want to see the Suns. I want to see Chris Paul get that ring this year. That's what I'm rooting for right now.
Suns in 4. you know that guy. That meme's going on.
Yeah, that fight in the stands.
Yeah.
So ridiculous. So I watched it like 10 times the other night.
Suns in 4.
Suns in 4 as he just knocks this. Was it Utah? Who is the Denver Nuggets fan out? Just like knocks him up, pounds on him. Stupid.
Landon picks up a 5K pot there on the left with the top pair from the flop. Takes down the one on the right, approaching the 120K mark on the right table, where they would reset tables.
Don't give them to him, Bill.
Random, but a side thought. I was just in Texas and I was at an Astros game. I haven't been following baseball too much. And I just found out recently that when they go into extra innings, they start with somebody on second. I was like, oh, wow. We got a pot developing on the right here, 13.6K in the middle. Still having a think. Goes with about 40 here. Terps, yeah, I know. I was really surprised about that. Really random thought in this situation, but yep.
Wow, very crucial Jack of Spades. Completing a lot of stuff comes down the river in a pretty quick.
Was it fast?
Yeah, that's a quick timing tell right there. A really fast, about a 3-second bet, 2/3 pot from Bill. Timing tell is definitely a bigger thing than most people realize in the online realm. And he's gonna take it down.
It's funny seeing MJ react in certain situations, just like a little giggle here, big giggle here. You know, I'm trying to like read into it a little bit. I don't know if this is a tell from a coaching standpoint or even us as viewers here, but I do remember in one of the earlier sessions when Bill was maybe starting to get a bit tired, his timing started to shift a little bit. So I don't know if that's kind of coming into play here, as I think a couple times now we've noticed some faster timings.
Yeah, I mean, you never know what Bill you're gonna get, right?
and I just gotta give you guys a heads up. But my wife just came in. If this hits 5 o'clock, I'm gonna have to hit the exit. So I got about 10 more minutes here.
Sound good, buddy?
I actually have 10 minutes too left. I have dinner with my daughter.
Okay,
It's
nice.
mandatory at my household that I have dinner with her every night.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Chat, I will be here. All right, so I will carry the torch.
Drew's holding you down. She's holding you down, guys.
I got you guys. Boys are battling today, huh? The boys are battling.
We like to see.
Happy wife, happy life. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The best prop bet I've ever paid and I will ever lose for the rest of my life. When I was 20, I'm 34. When I was 29 and a half, I bet a few different friends here in Sacramento a total of $7,000 between 3 bets that I would not be engaged by my 35th. I would not be married by my 36th. Would not have my first biological kid born by my 36th. And 3 months into dating my now wife, I called all of them up individually. And obviously I'm trying to I knew she was the one. I knew she was the one. But obviously trying to get off as light as I can. I was like, yo, I'm dating this girl for 3 months, maybe we'll break up tomorrow. I don't know. But I think she might be the one. So let me off easy. She's not in the gambling world. That's the best. It was like $1,200 to $1,500. That's the best money I'll ever lose in my life, man. It's the best. They all got some extra presents later on, but that was the best loss, quote unquote loss, on a prop bet in my life for sure.
It's such a GTO move to have your significant other not be in the poker world.
It really is, and she actually loves poker.
So
she loves poker, but she's not it's
no,
great.
but she has a career.
Yes.
And so she's more connected to the real world, right?
Yes.
Like if you leave it up to us, we're just going to be submerged in the fucking degeneracy, right? Like we're just off the deep end. But my wife's out of the poker world too, so she really helps keep me grounded.
Yes, yeah, I need that big time.
Yeah.
Here's a cool question, I think, MJ. The chat wants to know, do you and your team ever have different opinions on a spot or a situation or anything like that where you guys kind of need to meet in the middle somewhere?
Not theoretically, no, but exploitatively sometimes, not often, but sometimes. But theoretically, no.
Through 531 hands here, chat, we find Bill to be down 14K on the day, 112K on the match down. Boys are going at it today. We have been lucky enough to have MJ on the broadcast again with us today, giving us the insight into the elite level high stakes poker. Of course, we got our boy Michael Longcar here. I learned a lot about Longcar today. I didn't realize, the 40 table, heads up, sit and go, grind was real back in the day.
Let me. That was MJ that said that. Heads up. I learned that, because obviously when you're playing sit and goes, you're trying to find that perfect ground of what's the most profitable, not the highest ROI, but what's the most amount of tables I can play and just make the most money at. So I found 3 tables of heads up sit and goes was my best.
Mm-hmm.
ROI, consistency level. 6, 7, 8 tables I could make money, but I'm not making as much as playing a little less. But I will say at my absolute peak, there was a small period of time where I was playing 45 sit and goes continuously for 10 hours a day.
So that was full ring?
Do it.
It was crazy. 6-handed and 9-handed sit and goes, mainly 6-handed. And I would just stack the table. I would stack the tables on top of each other, so you can only see one table at a time. So just constant decisions, constant. And every once in a while, when I had a tough decision, I would pull the table off the stack and think about it and go back to the stack while I'm thinking about this hand over here. So it obviously developed a lot of skills doing that. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I couldn't do it to save my life, I don't think.
It was fun.
4-bet pot call.
Ooh, wait, this is the flop you want to see here. 4-bet pot, queen, jack, king, 2 diamonds. This could be a big one. And that's what she said.
I was gonna do it.
Ah,
Oh man,
you gotta jump on it,
come
man.
on, dude.
That's what she said.
It just hit me, and then you said it as soon as my thought finished. Nice hand, buddy. Nice hand. I like it.
Thank you. And look at this. We got a really small 1/5 pot, 20% pot, a little less than 20% by Landon, and a call by Bill. Off to the turn we go. 2 flush draws now. 28,000 in the middle. Bill left with just about a pot-sized bet. And again, a really small bet. Less than
Also,
1/4 pot.
4-bet pots play funky sometimes, where it's common to see 25 and then 30% on turn, leaving the SPR like incredibly awkward, right?
And wow, look at that. 9 of clubs coming in on the river. Both players check. And ace king top is good for a big ship to Landon.
So we're gonna see a reset here, I would imagine, on this table very shortly.
And I
think
believe
what
this is
we're
the
down to
second
buy.
time today. Second time today Landon has hit the 120K mark.
Bill had 1, right?
Yes, yeah. Bill had 1. Landon's had 2. Hitting that 3x mark.
So there's a pretty big pot there, chat. We're going to get the stats updated for you in just a minute. We'll see where this match currently stands, coming up on the 3.5 hour mark. $10 for pain if you are wondering about the $55 ACR ticket giveaway. 10s for pain in the chat. So Sean, I think that Landon probably was just in the moment there. Might have been focusing on a decision on the other table, but as you can see, sitting out now. I'm gonna refresh this one.
And unfortunately for me, I believe MJ is close to it. I do have to say I do. 5 o'clock. Wifey's got somewhere she's got to be. I didn't think this was gonna be here that long, but yeah, I'm happy that this stream went this long. This has been an awesome experience. Big shout out to you guys for being here today, Drew and MJ. Had a lot of fun, guys.
Yeah, man, it was a pleasure.
Cheers,
Oh, yeah.
buddy. Yeah, it's been great. So enjoy the wifey time. And for those of you who want to check out Longcar, he's on a little bit of a break. Make sure you check out his stream if you have not yet. Twitch.tv/LongcarPoker. So
Oh, yeah.
thanks again, brother. Enjoy your night.
Cheers. Thanks a ton, guys.
Cheers, buddy.
Adios.
Have a good one. All right, that being said, it is 4:59. I have to jump too. It was a pleasure, everybody. I really appreciate the time.
Cheers, MJ. Again, thanks and a shout out. Check out towards the end of this year, right before the WSOP starts, the public release of Hybrid Poker. And MJ, the nuggets, everything, your energy, your passion, it's been great. So we really appreciated your company.
Ah, man, it's my pleasure. Thanks, buddy. I'll
Cheers,
see you
brother.
guys soon.
Talk to you later. Chat. Now you have, I was going to say forehead stream, but we're going to get that fixed. But yeah, I'll be hanging out with you, watching the conclusion of today's epic 3.5 hour plus heads up match. 200-400 between the young gun and the millionaire trader Bill Perkins and Landon Tice. Big pot on the right here. We got 13K in the middle. And Bill betting pot. When the backdoor flush comes in, we have 4 to a straight on the board. And Bill's going to take it down there. And we do have just a couple of minutes ago, we got an update on this session, 551 hands. Bill is down just under 1 buy-in. And total for the challenge, down a little over 3 buy-ins. For these stakes, though, that is Not much at all to have to overcome. Benjamin, I imagine that I will be selling some action for the WSOP this fall. I will be out there October and November. I haven't thought about it too much. It's on my to-do list. MJ actually asked me earlier about like what my plans are for this year. And in my notes, I have a lot of ideas and thoughts that I need to take a day off and focus in on and do better with. That's one of them though. So we will see. So it'll be interesting to see how much more stamina both Landon and Bill have in the tank here. There's really no set time that this match is going to stop. And we asked MJ earlier, his longest heads up match that he went, and he was like 15 hours. So, I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen here, but we don't really know. So chat, it might get to the point. I might have to order some Uber Eats here, get some food delivered in and buckle down for a long haul. We will see though. Time for a drink. We're relaxing. I'm feeling pretty engaged and entertained by this and learning a lot as this continues to go. And shout out to everybody in the chat. Really appreciate you hanging with us today. We have the one and only Momac out there. It says newly minted PL08 champ in the booth. Yeah, I did win my first PL08 MTT the other day. Felt pretty good. What's up there, Jave? Yeah, absolutely. Train, our boy, says we love you. Thanks for holding down the fort. Thanks, buddy. You know, this is what I do. I enjoy the streaming, hanging out with everybody. For those of you still here hanging out with us, MJ was our heads up specialist that was giving you the in-depth kind of strategies into this. Now, I am primarily an MTT player, and I have studied a little bit of heads up. You know, I've seen some like general charts and ways that you should play some things, but I do not have the insight that MJ has. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed everything that he brought to the table as this match was going on. Thank you there, Jay Pena. Good to see you as well. 10 for Payne in the chat for the $55 ticket giveaway. We got a pot developing on the right here. We got 4.7K in the middle. The button is missing on this table, I think. So we'll have to, maybe the next hand that'll be refreshed. We got a bet and a call. And 2 pair for Bill's gonna take down that pot. What's up there, Win Baby? How's it going? Good luck if you are playing. There we go. We got a button in. Now again on the right. So chat, what was the biggest thing or nugget that you have learned so far from today's stream? Because I did see quite a few comments of people saying that they were really enjoying the stream and you had learned a bunch, you know, between the conversations that Longcar, myself, and MJ had. What has been your biggest takeaway so far today? We got my buddy Two Seam Dean in the chat. Says we need to watch some fights. We're watching heads up fight right now. But yeah, my buddy and I, we do have a couple of 2-fight parlays on the UFC fights tonight. We ran decently last weekend and we did ship one of our 2-fight parlays. So that is fun. Jay Pena says letting go of ego and moving on to the next, as far as the biggest nugget that they have pulled away from today's stream so far. But yep, I'm looking forward to the Venom 10 million coming up as well. I forget the exact date on that. I believe the flights do start end of this month. I should know, but I don't know the exact date. We can get that for you in the chat. Pharaoh says the idea of MJ and Bill not discussing play decisions to get caught up in what if they continue to play here, looks like. Welcome back, Rips. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you had a good dinner. So the flights start for the 10 million Venom on July 23rd. So 4 days, right? Oh, wait, no, we're in June. July, end of July, next month. I have poker player brain when it comes to days of the week and dates. So yeah, don't mind me. Got a 3-bet on the right table here from Landon. A lot of these pre-flop sizings that we're seeing, I'm sure a lot of you are starting to get very familiar with, very, very consistent with the sizings. Landon's opening the button to 1K, Bill's opening the button to 960. What hour is this? We have just passed 3.5 hours in. They started at 4:30 East Coast time. Long session today. Canadian Luke, I totally feel you on that. These heads-up matches are making me want to study and get into heads-up a bit more. I know on ACR, if you want to play some heads-up matches, you can go to the Blitz tables. Check those out. Fast Fold, Cash Game Poker. So there you go. If you'd like some more information on the upcoming 10 million guaranteed Venom, exclamation point Venom in the chat. We got a raise from Landon on the right. We got a paired board. Bill went with about a quarter pot sizing. Clasher, we are not sure what the side bets are or what Bill has bet, or really anybody, any of the side bets. I don't think those types of things are usually made too public, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. What's up, chat? How's it going? And then we're going to find Bill folds here to the check raise. Landon sitting out. Bill sitting out as well. Was a snap sitter by Bell on the left table. This could be the end of today's match. We have seen a higher number of sit outs during today's session, where somebody would sit out for like a couple minutes, 2 minutes, and then come back. So we don't know for sure yet. Let me see. Hang on 1 second, everybody. Hey, Phil.
You being the guy that we could count on, because we didn't find out about it to the last minute. But I watched the whole thing, and you did an amazing job, sir.
You're on, just so you know, Phil, you're on speakerphone here.
I'm still watching you. Well, I'm still watching you commentate.
Okay.
So
I wasn't sure because I saw it come up on my computer. I was like, oh, is Phil calling me or is it in a group? But so you saw the match today. You're hanging out watching.
Yeah. I'm kind of a lurker right now because it's somewhat more of a lurker than out in the public right now. It's for whatever. But I wanted to compliment you. Is it's the first time that I saw that commentary on just a single person commentating on the match. You did a really, really good job. Great match, right? I just wanted to say well done.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. I've been fully enjoying this, so it does look like it's
a great match, right?
They were battling today. I mean, 3.5 hours.
Battling every day. Like it's been something, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's and most of these matches they start out with like a whole bunch of hype and then it kind of like dies down, and this one's really not. This one has it's held the test of time or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely held my interest, right?
Mine as well. Yep, for sure.
So it's and more than anything else, I just want to tell you job well done, sir.
Thanks, Phil. I appreciate that. I appreciate it.
Have a good one.
All right.
Good luck to everybody. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Phil. We'll catch up with you later.
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All right, chat. So confirmed that is the end of today's match. The summary for today, this session, 584 hands, and Bill ended up being down 16K, which is less than half a buy-in. And the total challenge update is 3,728 hands. Bill is down 114K. We are going to do one last drawing here on the stream. So make sure you type 10s for pain in the chat for a shot at a $55 ACR ticket. And again, we really appreciate everybody coming out, watching the stream, supporting, being a part of it. It is a very cool heads up match because this is, in the last year or two, the heads up for rolls, challenges, these matches, it's like coming back. This is what it is. But of those matches, this one has a little bit of a different feel to it. We got the up and coming 22-year-old wizard, and then we have Bill, who's been around the game, millionaire and just a well-known poker personality battling it out here. And yeah, so this has definitely been great. I hope you've been enjoying it. And we are going to pull the $55 ticket winner in 30 seconds. 30 seconds you got, chat. So make sure you're following the stream also so you know when we go live. These matches do not have any set or scheduled time that they go live. We just found out earlier today, like within 2 hours, that this match was going to happen. And fortunate, we were able to get MJ on the stream today to hang out with us. Longcar and I had some time to pop on and watch as well. So yeah, it's been great. All right, so we are going to go ahead and pick the winner now. You're gonna have to claim the ticket in the chat and tag America's Card Room for the $55 ticket. So there we go. Stone Ponies. Stone Ponies is our winner of the $55 ticket. Stone Ponies, if you are out there, please claim your ticket. I do think every couple of days or so, the boys have been firing up the heads up match. So maybe Monday or Tuesday, we might see the next match start up. You have 1 minute to claim the $55 ticket there, Stone Ponies. Or we will re-roll. So yeah, some big hands today. There was early on in the session, Landon got in 10s versus Bill's Queens pre-flop, hit a 10 on the flop, and then Later on, we had a couple of big pots where there were all-ins on the river. The one, there was a straight on the board. The other, there was a full house on the board. The one Bill folded when there was a straight on the board. Landon picked up a big pot there. And then there was on the 7-7-10, 7-10 board, they got it all in on the river for what I believe was the biggest pot. It was a little over 100K. Bill had pocket kings on that board and checked the river to Landon, who jammed his pocket eights. And Bill ended up winning. Again, I think that was the biggest pot. That was for like 100 or 110K at that point. All right, so we did not have Stone Ponies claim the last ticket. So now it is Stratocast. Are you in the chat? Claim the $55 ticket. We're gonna give you a minute for that. So if you are trying to get yourself a $55 ticket, everybody, hang tight. If Stratocast does not claim, we will be rolling for another name. Let's see, Benjamin says, yeah, they took 2 days off, so maybe that's why a longer session today. Okay, I could see that, I could see that. All right, maybe like 10 seconds here. Stratocast, type 10s for pain in the chat if you would like a shot at a $55 ticket. All right, looks like we are going to be re-rolling again. And Freitag 66, Jamie, are you in the chat for a $55 ticket on America's Card Room? It's gonna be our last winner of the day. Freitag is here, boom. Perfect, so go ahead and get with America's Card Room. We're gonna get you hooked up with that ticket. And as you can see on the screen here, everybody, Landon Tice coming out victorious in today's heads up match. Plus 16K for Landon, who is up 114K now total in the challenge. We are 3,728 hands into a 20K heads up challenge. And yeah, I think this is going to wrap it up for us today. Again, reminder, please don't forget to hit the follow button if you enjoyed the stream and turn on your notifications. We do not know when these heads up matches go. We have a rough idea, a day or two from today, there'll probably be another one, but you need to turn on the notifications so you see when we go live and you can catch these matches. And also coming up, the Venom 10 million guaranteed, exclamation point Venom in the chat. Huge, huge event. And everybody plays it. So if you want to get involved, there are satellites and steps running to get your 2650 ticket for that event. And yeah, again, appreciate your company, everyone. Good luck on your grinds and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hope you win your bets. I know there's some UFC fights going on tonight. I know I have some money on the line too, so I'm going to be heading there. But again, we appreciate your company. Thanks to Fat Train behind the scenes, making sure that the game pops off and all the things are smooth and everything happens. Shout out to MJ Gonzalez for coming on. Shout out to our boy Lankar Poker and everybody behind the scenes. We appreciate it. Have a good rest of your nights. My name is Bet on Drew, and I will see you later. Peace.